Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout podcast. You're joined again by the boys, the four of us back together. Big shout out to Jared for filling in for me last week. I was busy getting pissed up in another venue.
So we.
Yeah, good to be back. Good to have the boys back. We got
Welcome
a
back,
lot of football to chat about. But yeah, how are we all doing, boys?
We struggled last week, without you.
Yeah. Absolute
We
man.
missed Cal.
Little peek behind the curtain for the viewers here. I do the editing for the pod.
Yeah.
And the files I got was about, usually it's like 5 minutes of stuff before we kind of kick off the pod. I think there was about 25 last week. And there was 3 different attempts to start it. But no, it was fun. It did feel weird watching the podcast purely from the camera's perspective and not knowing what happens, because usually I can kind of be like, all right, we've got to kind of watch what we do here and there. But last week I was like, what are these idiots going to say next?
Also,
It was a shambles.
we like on our first record, we said rest in peace to Masato Kudo, but then we didn't end up using that bit because we stuffed it up. So I want to say it while we record now to rest in peace Kudo from Brizzy Raw.
Yes.
Rest in
Or
peace.
ex-Brizzy Raw player.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm good. Doing well.
Big week. You were at the Raw game yesterday.
Watched a bit of Charlie Austin, a bit of Nanny.
Look, you go, 2 for 2 at home games this season.
I know, fucking, it was good, eh?
Another 0-0 draw.
Another 0-0. I haven't seen Brizzy Raw score all season. I haven't seen an A-League game
Have they
score.
scored? Was it Raw?
2 for oh,
There's
That was
only
the
a few
third
games
game,
in.
wasn't it?
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they
really
played an away game. I didn't know the result though.
Jeez.
They're playing home next week to Sydney, which should be good. At
Good
Moreton
game to
Daily.
watch. The old Moreton Daily, up the Moreton Daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to go yesterday, but Benny and I had our real life end of season do last night, so we were suited and booted, dressed to the nines, drinking as much free booze as we could.
That's why I have to wear my iconic jersey tonight, boys. You know?
Represent the Tigers. I
Hey,
like it.
bit of homage. But yeah, let's get straight into the football, shall we? We'll jump into.
We got a lot to cover.
There is a lot. We've got 2 game weeks. We've got a deciding week in the Champions League. A lot of teams have now sealed their fate and dropping down to Europa. Some of the big dogs. But yeah, there's plenty to talk about. So let's just jump straight into it.
Fucking get into it, eh?
Starting off, Salzburg and Chelsea, a little 2-1 win.
Yep.
Continuing Potter's fantastic start at Chelsea, not losing a single game
In Europe.
in Europe. Well, in the league too.
At this point, at
at
the league as well.
At the
But
point of the game playing, but by the time we get to it, he has dropped his first points.
And big old Kepa's made some sort of return, hasn't he?
Yeah, some wild recovering of form. But shout out to him for a young lad being the most expensive goalkeeper in the world to be in the lows that he has. I mean, we've seen a few players this season under new management really come and flourish. I think Kepa's massive, and to keep his mentality and keep that drive to actually want to be a world-class goalkeeper.
Got to give him props there, especially like end of last season. He was the Carabao Cup goalkeeper for Chelsea. Blazed his penalty. Like, if you're anyone else, maybe you just drop your head a little bit, but he's come back. I mean, he didn't start the season, but he's come back now, and he's been fucking playing really well.
Since
so.
Potter's come in, he's obviously Potter's seen something that he likes.
or doesn't like in Mendy, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps.
Since we're talking about Spanish keepers, you want to talk about De Gea
Yeah,
quickly?
left out of the 55-man squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 keepers got picked ahead of him.
That's insane.
Let's touch on it.
actually
I
insane.
mean, it is insane. It's not crazy though. I can
It
understand.
is great.
I can understand
That's
why
crazy.
Luis Enrique's done it, because,
Why?
well, De Gea's getting on a bit. Why not give the younger...
De Gea's getting on it. De Gea's like 31.
Yeah, you're playing
like
the World
34,
Cup.
is he
You
not?
go maybe in the
No,
Euros, but
Surely not.
Pretty sure he's close.
Let me just fact check that.
I was going to say, every time we've gone age
we're
for age, I
our
always
age.
cock it up. But
Our
Do we
age
still
gauge is
think De
not
Gea
good.
is Spain's number one?
Oh,
Like, according
look,
to us?
he's definitely
hard.
up to 2. Well, the other keepers that got picked above him, which shouldn't have, in my opinion, was Unai Simon from Bilbao.
31.
Yeah,
As he pulls that up.
Unai Simon from Bilbao, Robert Sanchez from Brighton, and David Raya from Brentford.
Yeah. So Sanchez and Ray, I can see, because this season they've been fantastic. I think
They're
they've
good
both come
goals.
into their own.
But-
Unai Simon, I don't watch enough of La Liga to
Well,
say.
Unai Simon's Spain's number 1. So
Yeah.
that's it. To me, that's the only
The
understanding.
last 2 tournaments he has played for, or no, maybe not the World Cup 2020, but
I just don't. I personally, I don't get it. Like De Gea has been one of the best goalkeepers in the world for a long period of time.
Not the last 3 years, but like he's still decent.
He has been up there. I think that the difference with De Gea is now like our defense is finally shored up. you don't see him making the ridiculous saves anymore.
The only thing I can say with De Gea is his distribution lacks.
Yeah.
And in a team like
Spain,
Luis Enrique's Spain is very much Luis Enrique's Barcelona, very similar in their tiki-taka quick play, and you need a keeper who can use his feet. De Gea has made many a mistake at his feet.
I wouldn't say many.
I mean, he's been there for a long time at United. I've seen a lot of cock-ups from him. And I can also see him wanting to make his stamp on that Spain national team. How you do that? You make big changes.
Yeah.
Like the Spain team that was so good for so long. You think of the Xavi, the Iniesta, David Villa, name them, Pedro, Casillas, Piqué, Ramos. Those players are now dropping out. It's a new Spain. Why not try keepers out when you've got a nice breed of talent there? Why not try a new keeper?
Well, it's the one position you can afford if you've got other options. But it's just wild to know that De Gea's not going to the World Cup knowing there's 5 other keepers ahead of him.
Mentioning Kepa, he's had a huge turnaround this season. He's included in the list, but he doesn't travel to Qatar. He stays in London.
The big thing for me, but is I think it's no surprise De Gea is not a favourite of Enrique. He's I think he didn't go to the last. Well, no, he did go to the last World Cup. I don't think he went to Euros.
No.
So I think there's no surprise he's not in the 3 keeper list for the 26-man squad. But to not be in 5 or 6 in the 6 keepers that are in the 50-man squad, that's insane. But he is not that bad. And even distribution, I agree, because at United now, we're seeing Ten Hag ball come into effect a bit. And the questions behind him are his distribution for us.
Well, even if he is 6, it'd be so good to have someone with his experience in the dressing room.
Exactly.
Especially for the other keepers as well, if he is 6th choice.
That's where we're not in that dressing room. We don't the United dressing room's been that toxic. There's been names thrown around.
Yeah.
Maybe De Gea is one of those names. We simply just do not know.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's a bit of that going on.
Back to Chelsea anyway.
Yeah.
Usually we tangent to Chelsea instead of
I'm talking about Spanish keepers.
Usually it's anyway. To West Ham, we end up talking about Chelsea's transfer market anyway.
No, but good on Polo though, being able to get this Chelsea team just getting results.
Yeah.
Away from home too.
Away from I love Graham
Havertz's
Potter.
goal as well is unreal.
Havertz, Ganksy said, Jared said it last week. He is he does get a lot of hate, but the few games he's playing, whatever Potter has done, he links very well for that team, and he's starting to fill that number 9 spot. He's starting to win those headers, score those headers, play those drop off balls, and make those runs. You boys said it last week. He's very young. He's still got plenty of time to grow and mould, and I think a manager like Graham Potter is a perfect manager to make a player like that grow.
Yeah.
It's 2-1 there.
Just touching on that too, just Kovacic coming back into the squad under Potter as well. I think I don't know why he wasn't playing as much under Tuchel.
Well, for me, he's their best midfielder.
Yeah. He's watching him play. He just brings something. He brings so much energy to that Chelsea side.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
I'm gonna say it now because I'm not gonna wait till we talk about United. Why was he in his pants after the Man United game? Did you see the video of him running off in his full underwear?
Big knob hanging out.
Just a massive package.
Mate.
Sweet.
Mate, if I had that package, I'd be doing podcasts on my jocks.
If you got it swinging like that, do it before the game. Get out there and let them know.
But he had a big package, did he? I didn't see
Did you
the
not
front.
say, mate? It was terrifying.
Really?
He's just played a game of football, man.
We were hypnotised. So.
When you run, your dick shrinks. Well, mine does.
Okay, you say it. But yeah, this man, it's like an elephant's trunk.
Really?
And he's running around in full brief. There's still kids in the stadium. They're all staring and pointing as he runs down the tunnel.
Oh, I have to
Even
look at the
Peter
photos
Schmeichel's
after
coming
this.
up the tunnel and he goes,
Yeah.
have it. That's class. Why is he doing it? And also, who's he giving his shorts and his shirts to? Why do you have to run around in your underwear? Kovacic, we need answers, you scumbag.
If you wanted to send some more personal pics to me, Kovacic, I don't mind.
Well, I'm going to Stamford Bridge when I go to England.
Can I have your shorts, please?
A lot. No. All right. So,
2-1 to Chelsea away. Sevilla managing to do what Man City couldn't, scoring 3 against Copenhagen. PSG putting on an absolute masterclass against poor Maccabi Haifa. 7-2 domination. We'll touch on it briefly because there's one man in this team who's been a shining light, I think, this season. Lionel Messi.
Is he though? Because they're all on ridiculous goal tellers.
Messi, his last 31 games, he's got 45 goal
But
contributions.
there's one man that pulls the strings. If you watch a PSG game, like there is one man that makes things happen for him. You can have all the Messi and all the Neymars and Mbappe and Neymars in the world, but when you've got someone who can unlock defenses like Messi can, that's when you put big numbers up. And you saw it in the MSN days. I think now, the next couple of seasons, obviously Mbappe is doing whatever he's doing is his sport director / player role.
I think he's a big reason to why PSG are so good as well. Like I don't think it's like I think Messi and Neymar are unreal, but I do think if Mbappe leaves, that's going to hit them hard
for sure. But these last like 2 or 3 seasons where it has been Neymar and Mbappe, they've been good, but the quality of football that's now there with Messi is just a whole different level.
Yeah,
Mbappe is very wasteful too. Like in this game, I think it was this, or maybe I was watching one of their Liga games or something. He had like 8 one-on-one chances inside the first half and scored 1.
Yeah,
which is, you know.
Yeah, but he gets a lot more than most players.
Oh yeah. Well, compare him to Haaland. Like Haaland gets chances and he scores a lot of goals. If he was playing in that team against that standard of opposition, he would be on triple what he's on now.
Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi have 70 goal contributions just this season.
Yeah,
that's
schizo. And Mbappe only has like 3 assists.
I was looking at that because when you said that in the chat, I was like, that can't be real. I looked at their league contributions are like 40, so they must have 30 in the Champions League.
Yeah, well, because they battered Maccabi twice now. I think it was 5-0 or something first time,
That's
and now 7-2. But yeah, good on them. Dortmund, Man City, 1-0.
Another big performance from Bellingham.
Yeah, Erling getting injured.
Yeah, I was talking to my mate, City fan. He so I read during the week that it's an ankle thing for Haaland, but Tony, shout out Tony, he seems to think it's not going to be too serious.
No, Pep said it wasn't.
Yeah.
He should be fine.
Well, that's because they got those Man City doctors. You fly him out to Dubai, ask no questions, comes back with a freaking robot ankle to go with his robot body.
Touching on Haaland, I remember our first ever podcast. I sent this to the chat as well. But we predicted him to get 18 goals this season. He's already got 17 in 10 games.
It's like Mitro getting his 10.
Just Prem.
That's just Prem.
It's like Mitro getting his 10 Prem goals. Until it happens, it hadn't happened. So
he's got 9, mate.
Has it happened yet? No. Milan putting 4 past Dynamo Zagreb at home.
I love Rafael Leao.
He's really come onto his own. Shout out to what's the name of the Milan manager?
Spatoli or something?
No.
Well, then you say it.
Oh, because I've forgotten it. That's why I asked what it was out loud. Let me scroll down
Pioli.
here. Pioli.
Oh, yeah.
Simeone Pioli, former
Stefano.
Inter Milan, Stefano, whatever. Italian name. But he was an Inter Milan manager. I remember when he came in, the fans were not happy. But the things he's done, the signings he's made, that team is young, is dangerous, it's very fluid, pretty football.
They are becoming the Italian giant they used to be again, which is good to see.
And I think I was watching
Origi.
Origi's a donkey. But I was watching Brahim Diaz. Yeah. That boy.
He is rapid. He's good.
He was a wasted talent at Real Madrid. He was just sat there. He wasn't getting the game time. He'd been out on a few moves in La Liga. But I think the last 3 or 4 games I've watched in Milan, he's had little mazy runs where he picks the ball up on the halfway line, beats 5 players and scores a goal.
Yeah.
He's fantastic form. Shout out to Milan, honestly. I'd love to see him go and win a big, like they won the Serie A last year. To push for a Champions League this year would be insane.
Napoli or Milan.
Yeah.
Both the Italian teams.
Just Tonali has started this season really well as well. Like, he's obviously been very good, but I feel like this season he's stepped up another
putting
gear.
his name back out there.
Yeah.
Milan is still a ways off for Champions League.
I mean,
we'll see.
I don't know.
Are they out of there?
No, they're not. They haven't qualified.
The second? Are they
yeah,
second?
but they're 1 point above Leipzig, and their final game is against not Leipzig, Salzburg. So you have to win that game or even draw to go through.
Yeah, there's at least 5 teams for me that I can think of off the top of my head that are above Milan at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
But I think I remember saying when we first discussed Champions League, they were my dark horse. I think you said a very similar thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what a dark horse is, but you know they're not expected to go far. Not expected to do much, but they could very well.
It's like Porto somehow getting in the quarterfinals every year.
Yeah, just sneaking their way in. But from the top of the Italian league to the absolute mud, Benfica putting 4 past a piss poor Juventus side.
Juventus just suck.
There is one shining light in that Juventus side. I did write the note down. The young English lad who came on at the end of this game. I don't know his name. Illing Jr., something like that.
He looked good.
He was so rapid. So in a team where you're already down, I think it was 4-1 or something when he came on. And he came on and put the balls in that create like the pre-assist for their 2 goals that they came back with. What a boy.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him before. I don't know where he's come from, but...
Our conspiracy got fixed this game too. Alexandro came off the bench.
Oh, the boy came back.
Yeah, he still plays in
Somehow
Juve.
earned that 84 rating despite none of us hearing of him for the last 2 years. But yeah, shout out Benfica too to put 4 past Juventus and to hold it. Obviously, it's at home, which is a big thing in Champions League nights. But
Juve in Europa now.
And did you mention that?
No. So yeah, it
so
does.
Yeah, they're out of the champs.
It doesn't even. They're not even guaranteed to
No,
make
they've got
Europa.
Yeah.
There's a chance they could just drop out of everything completely.
And who's in that group?
Yes.
And you look at that team too, like there's nothing even outstanding there. I wonder if they'll make some investments to make a comeback to become more of a dominant force, because it looks like teams like Inter, AC and Napoli are starting to become the dogs again back in the Serie A.
So the Juve has PSG, Benfica, Juve and Maccabi Haifa.
Yeah.
So
They're out.
who?
Juve, aren't they?
No, they're in Europa currently, but they're tied on points with Maccabi. So if they get a result and Juve don't...
Oh, so they could go...
Yeah, that's what we're saying. They could go out, yeah.
I'm going for
yeah.
Maccabi.
Yeah, big up Maccabi.
Yeah, on the
Go on,
boys.
Maccabi.
Big up Maccabi.
Oof.
Jesus. Celtic Shakhtar, a 1-1 draw at home. Big result for Big Ange. I think any result in a positive sense for Celtic is a great result for him. Leipzig sticking 3 past Real Madrid.
Yeah.
3-2 there.
Big result
That's
for
a big
Leipzig.
result.
Big
Although
result for 'em.
Madrid probably not playing to their potential, having already qualified.
Yeah, I think they're in a bit cruise control.
Yeah.
Well, I think Rodrigo was there, as he has been for a lot of their games this year, the real shining light for him.
94th minute goal.
Inter sticking 4 past Victoria to send Barcelona down to the Europa League. We will touch on them shortly.
Club Brugge losing their
Club
first game.
Brugge and dropping it in big style to Porto, 4-0 drubbing at their home. Frankfurt sticking 2 past Marseille's 1, and Barcelona doing what Barca do when they play Bayern, conceding 3 at home to Bayern Munich, sending themselves to Europa League. As we spoke about last week, or the week before, I should say, potentially massive financial consequences because of this. And
I
just
can't see him winning the
uninspiring.
Europa either.
No.
I think there's so many teams that are better than him.
I'm starting to see a lot when I look at the old social medias. There's a lot of Xavi out.
Really?
A lot of Xavi out because he obviously took the club, a struggling club. They got all their money. They bought signings in. Rada. They haven't improved from where they were this time last year, where the likes of Pedri and Gavi and those players were shining through and doing bits for him. Ansu Fati, who obviously has struggled with injuries, bless him, but still, they're not having the impact. Obviously, they used to have Depay and Aubameyang, where they're 2 big men. They've now bought in the likes of Rafinha, who's been terrible for them.
Shocking signing. And also fucking, don't know if you just want to touch on this, but Gavi win the young
The Copper.
Yeah.
thing.
Copel.
That's wild. That was
Over Jamal Musiala, who is arguably,
Yeah, Musiala was...
I
Well,
put him
a
in
lot of
Bellingham.
people... Yeah, a lot of people
Bellingham.
were saying Bellingham.
yeah,
should-
but Bellingham, it's weird when you look at players like Foden and Bellingham, and like obviously they're English, sorry, I apologise. But like those players are too good to be, or like Trent is even too good to be young player of the year.
What's the classifications for it? Do you have to be under 23?
Yeah. But when you look at, I think that's a very outdated age system now.
Yeah.
Because
Should
when
be
you look
21.
at
20
when you look
yeah.
at players coming through, like Jude Bellingham, I think it's still 19.
19, yeah.
Like that's mental.
Yeah.
So he's still eligible for another 4 years. But in 4 years' time, he might very well win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Can
But-
you win both?
What?
I mean, there's no reason not to, I guess. But that's what I mean. Like those players are now in their own bracket where they're too good for the golden, whatever it is, young players ball.
What's How old's Haaland?
22.
Yeah, 21.
So he could have won it.
He could have won it.
Yeah, I think you should just give it to who is the best in the age ranges of these. Like, if you want to change the rules, change the rules. But until then,
it is weird that he's there because I hadn't heard of him.
Who?
Gavi. I don't watch enough Barcelona to hear of him. You know what I mean?
I heard Pedri's meant to be better.
Yeah,
Pedri for me is the better one out of them.
Same
Gavi's
here.
pretty good, but
Pedri pulls the string for Pedri is Barcelona's best
Pedri's
player.
19.
100%. Pedri is Barcelona's best player. But he won it last year, and I think that's the only reason he didn't win
So
it
there
this
you go.
year.
It's fucking all. It's all bullshit.
Gavi is a weapon.
Gavi's all voted for by journalists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gavi's a weapon.
La Liga.
But
favoritism.
I don't think he's on the level of Musiala, Bellingham, Pedri.
I just
Or
throw this.
Haaland. Or Foden.
Or Haaland.
I'll throw this in there. So obviously, Ballon d'Or and all that is voted for by top journalists in each European country.
Fucking journo.
Whatever. But the YouTube, the
You seen
YouTube,
Green Street?
Yeah.
YouTuber Bogdan, he is a Montenegrin citizen, and Montenegro have a guy who does it, but he just doesn't really give a fuck about it. Yeah. So he was trying to get that position to add, so a YouTuber would have a vote for the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
It's just a weird little funky thing. I thought it was funny, but it's like, that's what I mean. Like all these, it's just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
But so it's like Gavi got,
Stupid.
was it Gavi who PK shagged his mum?
I think it was, yeah.
So, all right, PK shagged
That's
his mum, so here's an
sympathy,
award
yeah.
for getting over it, yeah.
Sympathy, yeah, I like that.
But yeah, there we go.
My mum's single, Pugo. So.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you didn't catch the end of last week's episode where Ben's giving the green light to Jared. God. Jared and PK having a wonderful time. Moving onwards, Liverpool got their 3-0 win against Ajax. Do you boys want to touch on it?
It's not really much to say. It was just
He's had plenty to say after it.
Good win.
It was the first time you guys had changed the formation up,
Yeah, we had a diamond.
I believe, because it was before the Nottingham game.
There's been a few changes before this
There's
game.
been a few changes of the formation. We've
4-4-2.
played a 4-2-3-1, played a 4-4-2, played a diamond midfield.
Yeah, a lot of positives. Elliot, again, one of my best players this season.
Great goal by him too.
Yeah.
Great goal.
Darwin Núñez as well. Good to see him getting the score sheet. I think he's doing well. Salah back on the score sheet. Seeing Salah at the moment seems very back in his like that mindset of just going for it. Again.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm finished. Yeah.
Since changing the formation, Salah's been allowed to come off the right. Like he's playing more centrally, so he's scoring more goals. But before that, when we were playing the 4-3-3, I don't know if it was, I don't know what it was, but Salah would not come off the wing.
Oh, it would have been directions from Klopp.
Yeah.
But I think, just trying to adjust. I think playing Darwin Núñez as like a left winger, left striker has been really good.
Yeah.
Because he is fucking super quick. So they give him that freedom out there to be able to play more of his own game rather than just... Because I think at the start he was trying to play too much like Bobby, trying to play off and like drop in and play as a false nine. It did not work. So seeing him have his freedom on the left wing and left striker is a lot more beautiful to see as a Liverpool fan in terms of growth. But yeah, there's a lot of positives from this game.
Yeah. I personally don't think the diamond is the way to go for us. I think the 4-2-3-1 worked better for us.
I think
having out and out wingers.
I think the diamond would be better, would be good if Fabinho would actually play football. Like the amount of times players run past him so easily, it's ridiculous. And I think it just exposes so much. I don't know why he's had this drop this season, but like drop in form. But every time someone gets the ball near him, to get past him. Yeah,
it's not this game that we need to be talking about this. To be honest, I thought we were pretty dominant.
Yeah, we were really good this game, but
Ajax
it's hard to give us compliments knowing that we just lost.
Yeah, Ajax offered a little bit, but nothing really to trouble.
Stinky
for me.
Ajax team too.
They hit the post early.
I was going to say, is this the game that Timber just picked the ball up from the
Yeah.
defence
Yeah.
and charged through
He's quality.
the whole team?
It was good that
I
now
like
we're
him.
qualified.
I like
Good to
think-
be.
Just quickly, I think it could have been a very different game if Bergwijn, not Bergwijn, Berghaus, I think it is.
Berghaus,
Yeah, he scored that chance where I think he hit the
Hit the
post.
post,
Yeah, because that was early doors.
Opening
It was
five.
in like the first 2 minutes.
Defensively, that looked terrible for Liverpool. Again, just looked like he just pretty much just was allowed to turn in the box and just
It's just those split seconds of being switched off that's killing us.
Yeah, concentration levels, I think, is a massive one. And it's not just,
I think,
not individuals. It seems to be everyone.
The only thing I can put it down to is exhaustion from last season, playing 64 games.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can put it down to. And that's why I think it's super important. We'll probably talk about it more soon, but it's important to for our club to reinvest. If we don't make a big signing in January, then that's just some worrying signs, I'd say.
Yeah, the squad and Klopp and the coaching staff need more help from the board, in my opinion.
100%.
And especially with the injuries, like you can't foresee injuries like this in the transfer window, that early. But I think you have to foresee that, or not even foresee, you have to have known that we've played 64 games, that it might come to this.
Yeah, I know. It's just strange. Like we win the Prem, there's no really backing of the fucking off the owners. We win Champions League, there's no really big backing off the owners. Like there needs to be a bit more of a motive to be able to push on. Like this whole sell to buy strategy, it's probably good for the long term so you don't end up like Barca. But every now and then you just gotta have a window where you go big.
Yeah. And like I know you guys are probably thinking about Nunes, like that investment, but I think this time around we needed players rather than someone like that.
One big sign.
This is,
Yeah.
I mean,
We
in the
need-
group chat, obviously,
We need people.
when Ten Hag first came into United, the number one name on his list, apparently by all reports, was Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
And I, from the
Boy,
get go,
am I
was
glad
like,
we did
no,
not get him.
100 million, no, that's way too much money to spend on one player, and a player like that, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Like there's too much. So, and then we ended up spending it on Anthony anyway, but.
Well, yeah. I think the problem is, like, I know you complain about not having the backing and stuff like that, but I really rate the way Liverpool are run in the way that they don't. They build players up and they sell them for lots of money, and then they sign players for less. That's why your net spend isn't anywhere near as high.
Oh, well, in terms of business, it's great, but it's more so of like them.
For the club too, not just for business sake. Like for your club, like you're proving every year as well that you can do it without these big players. Like it's the system.
Yeah,
Like,
but what I'm trying to say is like the reason why it's an issue is because Klopp is like, we need a midfielder. No, you're not getting a midfielder. 12 hours left in the window. All right, you can get a midfielder on loan. It's like, what?
But it didn't really go like that.
No.
Klopp said he didn't want a
no,
midfielder.
yeah.
but he's
Klopp
saying-
did want a midfielder. He wanted Tuchemani, he wanted Bellingham. He had a couple of players a couple of names on the list. Tuchemani ended up leaving. And then the club ended up saying to him that you can't get a midfielder. So Klopp was just in the press conferences like, look, we're not getting a midfielder. And then with 12 hours left in the window, he got the green light. Then we had to panic by fucking Arthur Melo, who's now injured for the season. It's just...
Well, I have
insane.
a completely different perspective on how that went down. I don't think that went down anywhere near like that. And obviously, I mean, it's open to perspective because it's behind closed doors. Like we don't know the conversations. We don't know...
Yeah.
Like all you know is what Klopp says out in the press conference, which he hides and he always protects the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. But what I think Klopp wanted Tchouaméni or Bellingham. Couldn't get Tchouaméni because he went to Real Madrid, and couldn't get Bellingham because Bellingham wasn't moving in that window. So Klopp, I think, said, we'll wait. Like he's done with Van Dijk, like he did with... Who was the other one? There was another one. But he's been known to wait before.
Yeah, we did
Before
that.
signing.
He wanted Werner.
Yeah.
And didn't get Werner, so he just waited.
But he's done it before and it's worked so many times. So I think that's what he did. I think he was like, okay, we don't need a midfielder until we get Bellingham.
That's not Klopp though.
I think that is. I think he would have said, but I mean, that's speculation that you're saying it's not Klopp.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Because there's a whole I don't know if you know Michael Edwards. You probably will soon because apparently he's going United.
yeah, boy, I was reading that
huge.
this morning.
Yeah, but we got people like that at Liverpool that make those decisions.
Yeah.
And Klopp obviously will say, "Oh yeah, he's good,"
Yeah.
but it's a lot to do with other people, not Klopp.
Well,
that
was the case when Michael Edwards was there, but
Yeah.
since he's left, Klopp and Pep have taken on that responsibility by all
Yeah.
reports.
Oh no,
so-
there's another fella. I forget his name.
Julian something.
Yeah,
But we've had
Julian Ward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Julian
that's
Ward.
it.
But we've had injuries like in midfield.
Yeah.
I think Klopp had the choice to go and get a midfielder, especially on loan. He he would have done that pre-planning, not within the last 12 hours of the window. He wouldn't have been like, no, we don't need one 12 hours to go. Oh, fuck, let's try and find one.
I think he still would have had a list. He still would have had a list of midfielders there. Or like, because that's one thing, that's what Benny's trying to say. Like, the FSG or whoever, your sporting directors, they have lists of players. That's why Klopp had the names like Salah, like Mane, like Van Dijk on that list ready to go. I can't imagine Arthur was very high on that list. I imagine there's a lot of people ahead of him.
We're agreeing with that as well.
Yeah, but I don't think my opinion is I don't think Klopp's faultless in this, and I think that's how users sort of pushing it, which I don't think that's the case. I think yes, I agree. Like the upper echelons that are in the club are probably organising this, but they work as a team at Liverpool. Like that's how it works. You know, Klopp is involved in that. He wouldn't be as successful as he is there if he wasn't involved in all this stuff. So I think he has been involved. I think the reason that you panic bought Arthur Mello is because I remember there was a loss. I can't remember who it was against, but there was a loss right before the end of the window, and he was like, all right, we need a midfielder. That was the first time he covered.
I don't think it's one loss that made them buy a midfielder. We've had this injury list for a long time.
But you played badly up until the end of the window, and then you lost the game at the end of the window, and he come out.
Well,
I don't think it was United.
This is all speculation. My speculation is like that's the club finally going, fuck, all right, maybe we do need one.
Yeah.
And gave him the green light to go and get a midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, like...
So I think like Klopp, he's been in the game for so long. I think he's a lot more mentally prepared to know that you can't just lose a game and like, cool, now we need one.
You just have midfielders. No one could have predicted that Fabinho would have the fall off, that Henderson wouldn't have a great season, starts of the season. You know, the players you have midfielders. You have Elliott, you have Thiago, Carvalho, you just signed, can play in the midfield.
But the reason we wanted midfielders is because of injuries at the time. That's the reason why we brought in Arthur, because we had lack of resources due to the injury list we had at that time. It wasn't because we wasn't predicting players to fall off. It's because we had a big chunk of players missing.
Yeah.
It's still so funny to me that you brought in Arthur to cover injuries, and then he plays one game, plays 18 minutes, goes and trains with the under-21s, and then injured till the end of the season.
We should move on from Liverpool in the Champions League.
We should, because we've got more Liverpool to talk about.
At least now we won't have to talk about them. We covered it.
Like, fuck.
Atletico and Leverkusen 2-2 draw, Tottenham Sporting 1-1 draw, and Napoli 3-0 Rangers.
Just quickly on the Tottenham Sporting game, Marcus Edwards, the player for Sporting, former Tottenham youth product.
What a man.
What a player he looks like being as well. He's been lighting it up at Sporting.
It makes me sad seeing players like that playing brilliant football, because...
I love it.
No, because when you're that young, all you need is game time. Yeah. And they stay at these big clubs, because if you're associated with Tottenham, Man United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, whoever it may be, then you get that prestige. You make more money, you go out, you say, oh yeah, I'm a footballer, who do you play for? Chelsea, yeah, rah. Okay, cool. But just go and play football. Go to Sporting, go to Juventus when they're having a rut like the young lad has. Go to Dortmund like Sancho, like Bellingham.
Leverkusen, like Hudson.
Leverkusen, like go and just go and play. But it's this whole narrative of like, if it's not Big Six, it doesn't matter. But then you see when you get your chance against a big team like this, like all the young lads have.
Or even Gallagher going to Palace and showing how good he is now, getting in that Chelsea squad.
James Garner, Billy Gilmore, just go and play football. Like Jed Spence, you can rattle off names till the cows come home. Like
Gibbs White was good against us.
Yeah.
For us.
Just go and play football. Like the young lad who scored against Liverpool for Nottingham, he was at Liverpool and left. And now he's banging goals against top 6 teams. Like It does make me sad, because there's so, like, the margins to be a professional footballer is so small.
Yeah.
Untapped potential.
Yeah. And
I was speaking to someone the other day about the professional footballers and things like that. Apparently, like, 1% of the world's population sign a professional contract.
Yeah.
And then 1% of that are, like, your Messis.
Yeah, make it.
Well, not even that, like, your De Bruyne's. Who's
make it big.
Yeah, like, fuck. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like 1% of the biggest sport in the world.
Like,
yeah.
Just on that too, another, like, just sort of segued into the United game against Sheriff, was a big debut for Garnacho, who, like you were just saying, it's very hard to break through in a top team. So it was awesome to see Ten Hag put a little bit of faith in him.
Yeah.
You know, bench Sancho, who could have played that game very easily, but
would have had great results too.
It's
like
not.
Garnacho
It's
did.
not like we had the points to drop as well. We're second in the table. We can't
needed
be
it.
dropping points. We have to win every single game to automatically qualify, and we have to beat Sociedad next week.
Yeah.
So it's not. It wasn't like a
Go on,
let's just
fuck
give him
around,
minutes
boys.
over.
Yeah, and it was a full strength side except for Garnacho, and Garnacho was the one, and he played very
He
well.
tore it up.
Yeah,
too.
he did.
was unreal.
Looked very raw. He made a few mistakes, a few sort of bad decisions, but
He's 17 years old
Yeah.
or something fucking ridiculous like that.
he looks like he's going to be a good player. I hope we see more of him because
sure.
I think there's arguments for him to start against West Ham because Sancho just hasn't been doing it. He really hasn't. He's just plays so safe.
Yeah.
The other side of it is if you put someone that's so young in for an extended period of time, they can,
Yeah, it can
lose
hurt
grades.
them. their
shit themselves.
progress.
Not shit themselves. I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I do put faith in Ten Hag, but to handle it correctly, I guess, because he's done well with youth in Ajax.
You look at his Ajax team.
Yeah.
All young players coming up and
Exciting
and
football.
blossoming, yeah. But that's enough Champions League, I think. Let's move on to Premier League game week last week. I believe it was 11.
Yeah. I
Game
think
week
we
11.
all decided we're going to sort of fly through these games a bit because they were old news and
Wrap
it's been a
through
while
them.
for us too.
So Forest Liverpool next.
Yeah.
Everton.
Forest Liverpool, obviously, we weren't touching it too
Well,
much.
is there another game
Well,
before
we-
that?
no,
no,
that was
that
we
was the
watched that
opening.
after literally after the
You
potty
boys
on
watched this
Saturday night
after the
last
potty.
week.
I was absolutely off me trolley, sat at the
Yes.
RSL sending messages. There was dead silence from these donuts here.
I was off my phone. I was just living in the moment.
All I got was selfies of Ben and these two boys crying next to each other. Look, it's a tough game, and I want to comment on the Liverpool formation. I thought in this one, the narrowness of it, which worked against City, didn't work against Forest because the transitional play for them, because there was no spreading of the ball, they could win that ball back in the midfield and immediately drive at you.
Yeah.
Which in a game where you just want to sit in, which Forest were always going to do from the start, it's very detrimental.
So I'll tell you why it worked against City. When City have the ball, everyone goes
Yeah,
wide.
it's expansive play there.
So-
So a counter-attacking system like that will work.
If you have players essentially like we did in that game, it's easier to get on the ball and counter. In this game
agree,
against
100%.
Forest, where they're trying to be compact, if you have more players in the middle, where all their players are, you have no
It's
time
a
to.
recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And I can't remember if Trent played in this game, but
he did. He came
He
on.
came on at the end.
came
I
on,
think.
yeah. His positions this year coming like centrally, it's different. I mean, it's not different for a fullback because City do it all the time.
Yeah.
But for Liverpool at for the last 5 years, it's different. But it's. I think we need to get back to fullbacks just staying wide because I think when Trent can get his head up, have a look and deliver, it's better.
Well, that's
Like Robbo does on the other side.
it's been very much the Liverpool way under Klopp is not so much building the ball into those areas, it's getting them to your wing backs and then whipping them into a spot where they either win the ball or it bobbles or it takes a bounce or you can just pressure that area. That's where Salah's so dangerous. That's where Mane was so dangerous. And it's where players like Bobby dropping off and being in that pocket to either pick up the loose pass and then feed the two forwards who are already there. That kind of works. But yeah, it's very limited.
Yeah.
And I will say Nottingham Forest, the young lad who scored the goal.
I don't think he's that young.
He's,
I won you.
oh, is he? I don't know.
No, but yeah.
Credit to him, for being able to take that chance in that moment, the quick reaction to
He had 2
got
goes
the
at it sort of
seconds,
thing,
yeah.
didn't he?
Well done.
to finish it because a lot of those get spooned high and wide.
I'll let you go first because I know you're.
I was going to say he's 25 years old. That's it.
Not really a young.
Apologies, ages aren't my fucking specialty.
No, they're not.
14 episodes in.
My big memory from this game was Van Dijk should have had a hat trick.
Yeah.
He should have. There was the one we were watching, and the one where he tried to square it to Bobby, right in front of goal on the 6-yard
He was
box.
central as well. It's
Yeah,
not
he
like
was in front of the
wide
goal, and we were all just like, "What are you fucking doing trying to square
Probably
that?"
the second best header in our team. He doesn't even shoot with his head.
Yeah, and there was another one I think late in the second half where he tried to
Yeah, he
try to
did
cut
twice.
back, and he could have just like you're close enough to just go for goal.
Is the first best header in fuck me what I'm trying to say. The best header in our team is that Allison?
Oh yeah, no, Allison's third.
Yeah.
Jota.
Yeah,
Jota.
true actually.
But yeah, Allison's a G.
At the time, Nottingham were bottom of the table.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they got this
They're still
win.
bottom,
which-
by the way.
Yeah.
Like I was looking after the game, I was like, we got injuries, and I looked at the team, like we should still be beating Forest. Injuries or
gonna
not,
say.
even
Yeah.
like the same. Fast forward to last night's game, like injuries or not, we should still be winning. But
Yeah, there's not much of an excuse.
there's no excuses at all.
No, I don't think there is anymore. Like, the start of the season, you can kind of say blip, tired
So-
players getting used to shit.
Yeah,
A couple of weeks ago, I said it's hard to keep looking at Liverpool for a title race. Do we think Liverpool get top 4 this season? Like, that's where the discussion's gone to.
It's
we'll qualify for Champions League by winning it, mate.
it's not far off that conversation. I think it's still a little early.
Yeah,
A
it's way too
little early to say. I think this side of Christmas is a little early, but they're making it fucking hard for themselves.
We are.
It's
Liverpool's.
more for how good everyone else is. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many good teams, and Liverpool just
Well, even the teams that aren't the big dogs, the teams lurk like
Newcastle,
fucking Newcastle,
United,
them out.
United are progressing, and I think we're another one
Yeah, but
in that contention as well.
Liverpool's biggest opposition this year is Liverpool. But the one good thing for Liverpool this season, not this season, just good thing for Liverpool in general, they know how to drag out a 38 games. So
Yeah.
I feel like they will find a way. Teams like, like Newcastle and stuff are still in that transition of being able to stay consistent for that long. I think Liverpool have that in the bag, like that experience in the sense it's just being able to get form back is the biggest thing.
only issue that I worry about is if they're tired, the
When's
World
the
Cup
break?
comes.
Yeah,
the
well-
World Cup comes, and they, like you boys mentioned a few weeks ago, they're going to Dubai and doing a training camp out there.
Yeah,
It's
I
going to
think
be
that's good.
fucking 45
Yeah.
degrees, and they're going to be doing training camps like.
I would guarantee they have indoor training camps in Dubai, especially for like multi-billion
Maybe,
football
but
clubs.
you're not flying all the way to Dubai to play indoor games, are you?
Well,
I
you
feel
are
like-
so you can be close to the rest of the team that's playing in the World Cup. That's the reason why we're going to Dubai, so we can still stay with the squad.
give them a break. It's a fucking the players.
Well, I
Well,
feel
they
like
basically would have a break. It's not like they're going out there and doing sprints 24/7.
I feel like Jurgen's pretty smart. Like he's done his degrees and things in sports science and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go to the 40-degree heat and smash them like you're saying.
Yeah,
I think it's actually more.
Bonding
I
as a
don't want
team,
to say a
like-
holiday because they're still going to be working, but
Yeah, I get
it's
what you're saying.
it's going to be a time where the players can go to the games. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be able just be able to kick back and just spend time with each other, like without the pressure of football, and just bond again and refresh. And also, I think the World Cup's going to do Liverpool a lot of good. And then come into January, hopefully make a signing and then see what happens from there. But that's just all hypotheticals.
I haven't seen the itinerary for the Dubai trip, but we'll see.
Lads on tour. They're going to go to the aquarium, mate. They're going to go top of the Burj Khalifa, a few selfies, a couple of Pinot Grigios, mate.
Moving on.
Predictions
Oh,
for
yeah,
this game.
prediccionos.
Shock. Yeah, Predicciano Ronaldo's is how you do that, boys.
That's what I was trying to say last week.
Yeah, I
I
know. I was
kept
sat
stuttering
there
it.
at home. I'm like, God. Predicciano Ronaldo's for this game. Shock horror. None of us had a Nottingham Forest win.
No.
None of us even had Forest scoring a goal. Scass, you had it 4-0 to Liverpool. Jackie, you had it 3-0. Benny, you had it 2-0. And I had it 3-0. It ended 1-0 the opposite way. So it's a happy,
Moving
sad
on
0
to-
point for me there.
Everton.
Next up is Everton versus Crystal Palace
Oh.
at home.
I want to admit I look like a knob trashing the
You
Wobie because he's
do.
having a good season. He's fucking, He's,
That
I
was-
like him in midfield. He's a lot better than the winger.
Second
He's-
note on my list is... Oh, actually, sorry. I just want to
Second in
touch...
assist.
Yeah, so I was about to say.
Sorry, I just want to touch on Nottingham, Liverpool. I want to say Dean Henderson. Take a
Yeah.
bow, lad. You're having the
Yeah,
season
that
of
last minute save he did as well on.
He's had a
is
blinder.
Van Dijk.
fantastic. His penalty say everything for Nottingham has been fantastic from this year, so credit to him. But yeah, moving on to Alex Iwobi. In this game, they changed their formation up a bit. Played instead of having just a Ghana Gay behind the two midfielders of Onana and Iwobi, they had the two midfielders in there. So I think it was Onana and Gay perhaps sat next to each other in there.
Yeah.
Iwobi that little bit more in front. And that man, he's just so aggressive, so explosive, so passionate, chasing the game down. Really a career-defining season for him, I think, this year, to pull himself back the way he has.
Do we think this was a bit of an experience from Vieira's behalf by playing such an attacking team away from home?
I think it's Vieira trying to instill a bit of mentality into them of like, all right, boys, we're not just fucking mid-table here to take the piss. Like, we all, obviously, me, especially in this room, think they're having a good season. They're not sat that far above the relegation zone at this point. I think they're like 15th or somewhere around there, somewhere pretty horrendous.
They're 5 points away from it.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, they're not having a blind. They're playing good football, but they're just not getting the results. And I think for him, this is a game where you go, all right, let's take it to him. Let's see what we can do.
Have you told the Palace website just to hold the kit for now?
Yeah, look, it's coming on a boat from China, mate. Got rerouted, so obviously no boats getting into the country at the minute, so it's just sat there somewhere. But yeah, like, yeah, it's
a huge win for Everton.
For
Big result for Frank.
I think Frank Lampard deserves so many more plaudits than he's getting because what he's done to this Everton team is outrageous. They were gone. They were relegated when he came in, basically.
Yeah.
He kept them in the league. He made them very, very hard to beat. They played ugly, terrible football. They've played without a striker. They've bought players like Anthony Gordon, Alex Iwobi,
Cody.
Like, all these players in. Mikalenko looks marvellous. Bought them in, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Well, even like Pickford stepped up as well. He's
Jordy Pickford, he's been immense.
Pickford had a good game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night, fucking hell.
And, like, the two centre-backs, Connor Cody and James Tarkowski, get them on the fucking plane in December. Get them on the plane. Like, and shout out to Wolves for being fucking idiots for letting Connor Cody go out on loan. Like, I'm going to touch on it later on.
Probably the biggest shit house of the window, I think.
Letting your captain go fucking
and
to a rival club, too.
Yeah.
I think Cody does well in that England side too, eh?
I think for me, Cody, like, we'll get on dressing room. Cody
like,
needs to go to England.
He's in mind.
100%.
Actually,
But yeah, and Anthony Gordon as well. The goal he scored off that Mikalenko, was it this game? Where Mikalenko has the shot and it dribbles through and Gordon's just following it up and taps it in.
Yeah, I think so.
He had a 50 million price tag put on him by Chelsea. And you saw that kind of cause him to dip. And now he's starting to come back up again. Like,
he's playing out of position, to be fair to him.
Yeah, without DCL in there. DCL also coming back in the side and bullying that Crystal Palace defence, who have had a real tough time with big strikers this year. Haaland absolutely put them through a ringer.
What was our predictions for that game?
Our predictions for this game were... You had it 1-1, Scousey. Jackie had it 1-0. Benny, you had it 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and I had it 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Fucking over, Jackie, getting some points on the board.
You got to take him, mate.
I think you boys have. I was looking earlier. I think you boys have done a bit better than us this week.
This
last 2 weeks, I think so.
I haven't looked at it. Manchester City 3-1 against Brighton Hove Albion.
Just the same
fucking got
thing.
this.
Haaland 2 goals, De Bruyne a goal, just typical.
Another.
Get in.
You did too, Jackie. And just we don't even need to talk about it because Man City just doing Man City things. Like, when they're winning, who actually watches Man City games?
Yeah.
Like, unless they're the first game up, nobody's staying up for it.
Yeah.
They just dominate teams.
Just expect to wake up with 3+ goals.
So predictions for this one. Scarsy had it 3-0 City. Jackie had it bang on the nose at 3-1. Benny had it 5-0. And I had it 3-0 Manchester City.
Just on City, actually, the last few games they haven't really scored like you expect.
Not too much. No, they've been a bit...
Yeah, they have a few slip-ups here and there where they just...
Yeah. The Liverpool game, they didn't score. Copenhagen, I think during the week they didn't score.
Dortmund.
Yeah,
Dortmund just recently. I think this was...
Struggled against Leicester.
This game here was 3 goals. They scored 3 goals, but... Sort of before that and even after they haven't.
The type of football they now have to play to accommodate Haaland is a lot less of their free-flowing, overriding attack system that they were using. Obviously, without having Sterling and Jesus' directness as well. They've got the kind of playmaker attackers in Foden and Silva and Jack Grealish and that sort, but they're not out-and-out driven wingers. You know what I mean? Like,
and
pacey.
And having to accommodate for Haaland too when you're just looking for a bloke. They've kind of lost that spark of like, oh, whoever's in the box, just put a ball across and someone knock it in. You're looking for a big robot with a ponytail.
Yeah, well, I think I said that last week on the pod when you weren't here. I said that you've seen it with Dortmund when Haaland got injured for Dortmund.
Yeah.
They just looked like they were a bit lost going forward when he was playing there. And I think we're seeing it a little bit with City as well. Like, they were so unreal last season without him. But when you have a player like that and you accommodate to play because he's so good, they just play through him.
He's forced his way into that team and changed the team around it.
Yeah.
And then,
but you want to play to the strengths.
Yeah.
You see that's how they struggle against Leicester.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, moving onwards, Chelsea versus Man United. It was a hot debate on the potty last week. Chelsea versus United with Jared sitting in here.
94th minute equaliser.
94th minute. Casemiro, I thought, again, 2 weeks in a row. Just
he has been
outstanding.
unreal.
Yeah. Outstanding. So much better than fucking Scott McTominay.
Is this the first game?
Scott McTominay. Fuck you for manhandling and causing us to concede the penalty, you fucking donkey.
Is this the first game that McTominay or Fred haven't started? In a while.
Yeah, for a long while.
Yeah.
And let's not see it ever again, please.
Well,
but McTominay, to be fair, it's contentious because there was one a couple games later that wasn't given.
It's a penalty. To me, it's
a
penalty.
Of course it's a penalty. He's got his fucking arms around him and he throws him to the floor.
It's not smart.
He's an idiot.
But for me, the surprising thing in this game is Fred got dropped after playing probably man of the match performance against Spurs. He went back to Eriksen, who's come back fit from his injury. And we've seen that we can do what we did against Spurs with the high press and the pinning him back and just controlling a game. We've seen it again against Chelsea with Eriksen. So I was very actually happy with this game. I thought we played really well again.
It was a quiet game. For 85 minutes, it was a very quiet game.
I thought it was quiet, but I felt like we were the better team. You know what I mean? We dominated possession. Yeah, we controlled. I felt we controlled the ball in their final third a lot more than they did. Like I said, we pinned them in a lot better. I think the first 35 minutes, we absolutely ripped them apart. It looked like we were going to do another Spurs. And Graham Potter made a change and brought on Kovacic at 35 minutes for Cucurella, which is unheard of. To make a tactical sub at 35 minutes takes some nuts.
Why not this year? It's the first year with 5 subs. And I think Cucurella was he had a knock or something. So it was kind of like...
Yeah. But that changed the game big time for him because we were literally...
Yeah.
Like, we were about to score.
I think it's the second time this season. We saw it in the Arsenal game where... And I'll give full credit to Arteta here that I haven't given him. He's a very good manager in the tactics he wants to play and his ability to change tactics. There's not a lot of managers that can change tactics mid-game and still get success. I think Arteta's one. I think Graham Potter is easily the biggest and best example of it. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but you look at the Brighton team that he had, they would change formations 4 or 5 times a game. Yeah. And just it would be a seamless transition. The ball would go out, bang, things change. Or even on a transition, he'd be from the sideline, formation would change to accommodate the situation. And I think Ten Hag doesn't change formation, but he's very proactive in forcing people to do it. Or, like against Arsenal, for example, he fucked Arsenal because Arteta tried to make subs, but by the time he'd made them, we changed our shape. Yeah. And so when his subs came on, they didn't have an impact. Yeah. And I think this game, he's a little bit slow. Got caught out by Potter doing that, I think, which would catch anyone out. It's a bizarre move, but full credit to Potter for having the bollocks to do it.
You probably just want to get in at half-time and reassess that.
I think, I think that's what he did. We didn't change anything else till half-time. And then I think there was a change. I can't remember it exactly, but there was, I don't think it was a personnel change, but it looked like a shape change. We changed sort of a little bit how we were playing to counteract the Kovacic change. And it worked well. We went back on top, but we were nowhere near as sort of dominant as we were when Kovacic wasn't on the field. But I think, I was, when they got the penalty, I was absolutely baffled because I thought, if anything, we deserved to win that, not Chelsea. They did not deserve 3 points out of that. I thought we were way better side than them.
One thing coaches do now is they've all got their 50 assistant coaches, but someone will be sitting there working out what formation the other team are playing.
Yeah.
So when someone's changing it 4 or 5 times a game, that's impossible.
It bamboozles them.
It's true though. Like have your main manager focusing on your players and team, and having the assistant focusing on the other team.
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. That's what you want. That's why you've got assistants there, because you're just focusing on how do I get my vision. I know how we win this game. What am I missing to make that game happen? Another
big turning point in this game was Varane's injury, which was absolutely terrible to see, I think. But you can see when like Lindelof is a very capable replacement, but when he comes on, everyone sort of loses confidence, I think. Yeah. And we just don't play as sort of...
PTSD for the last few years.
Yeah.
Rubbishness.
What happened with his injury?
I think he overextended and he's done. Yeah. I think he did his knee or his hamstring.
His legs are just notoriously made of glass.
Cried he was like crying on the pitch because the World Cup just around the corner, and I think he knew that he's fucked it.
He will go to Qatar. Well, he might not even go to Qatar, so he's out for United till the World Cup. Yeah, we don't have him.
But the way he reacted, you could tell it was a bad one.
Yeah, I think it is very serious. Which is fucking sad, because even when he comes on and plays 3 minutes, I still think he's our best player.
Yeah. That game against Everton. Prediccionos, this one.
Predicciano Ronaldo's. It's all over the joint, this one. So, Scarcy and Jackie had it 2-1 to Chelsea. Benny, you had it 2-1 to Manchester United, and I had it 1-0 to Manchester United. None of us on the money, unfortunately.
In the middle.
Up we go to Londoninho. Up we go, wherever we stay in London, sorry.
We're all saying last week, not all, but...
Oh, it is Brentford. I don't know what I've done with the list. Villa Brentford, there we go. 4-0. Stinky Steve's return to being unemployed has resulted in Aston Villa saying, yeah, fuck you, Steve.
Yeah, everyone was saying last week how much of a ghost Ings is, and he comes and bangs a double.
Yeah, man.
I think this says more about the Villa players than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, it's obvious now, like hindsight's a beautiful thing, that the players were not playing for him. Evident in this game because they go out and win 4-0.
I think it is a bit of that. I think there definitely needs to be questions asked of that dressing room and their mentality. But I think also, and you're going to hate me this because this is a dig at Steve, but it's not. I don't mean it to
don't
be.
You dare say that.
It's a general observation. A general observation. His tactics were very stubborn. They were very one-dimensional, and he's a grumpy bastard. So if you're not getting results and you're being forced to play this type of football, and week again, you're seeing shit go wrong or it just not quite clicking, and you've got this grumpy bloke who's just,
stinky.
He is inspiring because you can't say he's not inspiring. Yeah. You look at the Liverpool teams and what he did. He obviously clicks with some people, but I don't think he was the inspiring force. And I think now that he's gone, and Villa changed their shape this game completely. They changed the way they played completely. They were much more higher up the field, a lot less knocking it long and trying to build on it. Instead, playing that tiki-taka ball, which really favours players like Buendia and Bailey.
Yeah, he just needs more experience as a manager, because he is very, I wouldn't say grumpy, but he's just super passionate. It makes him super...
I'm saying the way he presents himself, though. He's very flat-faced, monotone.
He's serious.
Yeah, that's all the time.
I remember hearing about players who would sign for the club. And the first training session, Steve would double foot him in the ankle and shit. Yeah. Sprinting at people and snapping them and training. That's just how serious
as a
coach
it takes or when he was playing?
Oh, both, mate.
I heard as a coach that he goes through and puts big tackles on players in training. And if they're not training well enough, he'll go and sub himself in and just fucking boo them.
But I think he needs a lot more.
That's gold. I'll get touch mine at 13s.
Hope you got shin pads on this week, boys. We're shit on the weekend.
No shin pads needed this week. We're doing running drills.
I also find it funny that as soon as Stevie got the bin, you two boys were like, "Nah, Villa is shit anyway." So we're just going to start not back in Villa. Fucking hell.
I think I do agree to an extent what you said with Steve, but I do agree with Jack. I think a lot of it is the players, and you see it so often with as soon as a manager goes, the shackles come off. Yeah. We've seen it for fucking 6 months when Ollie got the job. he just come in and just said, "Oh yeah, well, you guys know how to play."
Go on, boys.
After a stint under
Go on,
Mourinho,
boys. I won't tell the police. You crack on.
Yeah, contained football and Gerrard, I think Gerrard is like that. He's very sort of tactical driven. So very like you said, stubborn in his tactics and contained. When someone comes in and just like, okay, go out there and have fun, and then you got ability on the team. Like, there's a lot of good players. That's what happens.
What I'll say about that whole situation is the manager makes the decisions, so it has to stop with him. But I've heard as well that like some of the staff would cause him troubles. But again, that's got to go back to him because he chose them.
Yeah.
So
He lost a lot of staffing, I think, because he had Mick Beale was his right hand man. Was he?
No, it
Or
was
was
Gary
Gary
McAllister.
Mann? Oh, okay.
His what's the word? Predecessor or
Dean Smith.
no?
Dean Smith.
No, what's the word after him? I don't know if there's a fancy
Successor?
word. Successor,
Yeah.
maybe. Unai Emery come in.
Yes.
That's fucking huge. Yeah.
Why
That's
didn't you just say the new manager coming into? Why did you just try and say predecessor?
I had it in my head, and I was,
His successor, Unai Emery, is that's
Good
huge
evening.
for
what
Villa.
a sign.
good evening.
good
guys.
evening.
I was not expecting that at all.
Winner of 4 Europa Leagues, most recently 2021.
I can't believe he's
Against
come.
Man United.
He was still at where was he?
He was at
Villarreal.
Villarreal. He were blossoming under him. They were
Yeah, well, they
starting to
pumped
become
us in the
real-
Europa League final.
United get out.
They grow up.
Anyway, crack on.
What was your predictions? Just realised we clocked an hour and we've got a lot of football to talk
Yeah,
about.
a lot of football. So
We didn't
predictions
do
for
that
this
quiz
one.
this week.
Scass, you had it 1-1. Jackie, you had it 3-2 to Aston
take
Villa.
it.
Then you had it 3-1 to Brentford, and I had it 3-1 to Aston Villa.
I think I actually said on this game, I think Villa will
We'll
bounce
have to bounce
back,
yeah.
but I didn't think 4-0.
Not in that. I mean, honestly, and Danny Ings as well. Shout out to Danny Ings. This is the game where he came out with the headphones on because the young
Yes.
the young lad came out
Love
with
to
him,
see
had a
that.
bit of sensory issues going on. So shout out. Footballers don't get enough credit when they do things right and doing shit like that. It's
Like
a
good
beautiful-
old Defoe and Brad.
Bradley.
Larry.
Yeah, Bradley. Yeah.
Shout out footballers when you do the right thing, you multi-millionaire bastards. Leeds versus Fulham now.
Big Mitro getting to that 10.
Mitro, well, he's only on 9.
No,
It hasn't happened yet. But another 3-2 win for Fulham.
I think Williams made the change to this Fulham's team, especially, obviously we're not going to talk about it, but the week after as well. Like, I think he's made a big change.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse Marsh kind of has to make changes because after this game, he is now the next manager in line
chop and block.
to get the bin, which I think is harsh on him. I think he's had a lot of... Obviously, this Leeds team isn't quite where he's doing it, but it's been a funny old one for Leeds because they're playing good foot. Again, they're one of those teams like Palace. They play good football. They just can't
Not getting
quite
the
get
result.
results, and that's because they're playing in the Premier League,
Yeah.
where you've got to be good. And massive shout out to Marco Silva and this Fulham team for
Yeah, fucking hell.
they're very upsy downsy, but
They're sitting 7th.
Yeah, they're doing well.
when they're on. Mate, Willian came in.
Yeah.
I'd slated him when he came in. His freedom in this team.
You were like, what the fuck is this signing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the freedom he's allowed in this team to be as creative as he is, like with Pereira just feeding balls in beyond,
Yeah.
like
He's had an absolute
Harry Wilson
rejuvenation of his career too.
back again. Harry Wilson, I think he's coming back off
Yeah.
a long-term injury.
That's a good attack behind having the striker like Mitro, having Wilson, Pierre, and Willian.
Even their options off the bench, like Carlos Vinicius, is no slouch.
Dakota
Tom
Reed as
Canning.
well at right back has been putting in performances as well.
A
Did he
striker
score this
off
game?
back. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, from right back.
Then you got like Duffy and Diop on the bench too. Canny. Just for more of a defensive options.
Up the Bristol City, mate. Bobby Deckled over Reed. But yeah, like
Leno and goals.
it's
This is the when Fulham came up 2 seasons ago and spent like fucking so much
100
money.
million, and
This is what
signed.
they need to do
Yeah.
instead. They've done it well now.
Who did they have as their manager? Was
Scott
it Scott
Parker.
Parker?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Tough go for Scott Parker. He doesn't like playing in the Prem. But yeah, shout out to Fulham, honestly, doing the damn thing. I don't know where they're going to finish this year. I think they're still too upsy-tupsy to...
I think a mid-table finish is not out of the question for him.
Considering, I
Like
think
a
we had them
12th?
dead bottom. We say it every week. They were,
I think we had him 19th.
between the two. But
Bournemouth was the only
we
one.
had Forest flying, and they're the one, sinking down the bottom and just picking out the big fish when they can have them.
It was just too easy for us to see all those signings and be like, they're going to be good, aren't they?
Yeah. Right, and then they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
Predictions for
this one. Scarcy had it 1-0 Fulham. Jackie had it 2-0 Leeds. Benny had it 1-1, and I had it 2-1 Leeds.
Scouse at the point there.
So,
I would say the upset of the round, this one, Southampton and Arsenal.
Yeah.
A 1-1 draw down at St. Mary.
I said that with conviction, though.
You did.
I was like Stevie in the dressing room. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It started early. Granit Xhaka scoring the 11th minute, but then Southampton, again, Hasenhüttl, he's an underrated man. He's not good all the time, but when he's good, my lord, is he good. He made a tactical change in this one, and Arsenal couldn't break it. Another weird game where Arsenal just can't seem to get those goals. Obviously, they still got a point.
Well, yeah, this is
still
the first
top of the
time,
table.
Really. We've seen a chink in fucking Arsenal's armour, really, haven't we?
Well, we've seen them be held for the full 90 instead of, usually they sneak through eventually, but,
And this led on to, which we didn't talk about, their first loss in Europe as well, when they lost to PSV.
Yeah, and after this, it's like, this is the bounce back Cal was talking about.
This
like
is
a couple of games dip.
This is it.
They had it when they lost to United. We all thought maybe that would
Maybe it would start.
but
they were still doing well in other comps, whereas now they've had this hiccup.
I think
they've had the
they'll bounce.
Europa hiccup.
Because, losing to United, you can't be like, oh, it was United. But now it's like Southampton and PSV, it's a bit of a different mentality.
They're probably lucky as well that City game got postponed then, didn't they?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe that could have been a part of it. Maybe they were overworked leading into that game, or...
We'll see. I think they'll bounce back. Personally, I think that it's not really going to derail them too much. Yeah. I think a point against Southampton's not the end of the world. I think like you said, Hasenhüttl on his day can be unreal, and Southampton on their day can be a very hard team to beat. So a point there is not too bad. Like we spoke earlier about the PSV game, and they have a very changed Europa League team.
Yeah,
as they generally do, and they've already gone through in the comp. So the dropping points in Europe is not a big deal for them. So I think the big test will be this weekend. I think they've still yet to play. They've
got to play Nottingham tonight,
which will be a piece of piss.
Giant killer Nottingham, mate. So
no, they just done it once, mate.
Yeah. So predictions for this one: Scass had it 2-0 Arsenal, Jackie had it 3-1 Arsenal, Benny had it 2-0 Arsenal, and I had it 4-0 Arsenal. All of us in the mud. This one here.
Bounce back for
Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leicester City.
Another game of Wolves struggling from open play. To score from open play.
Wolves. I do not understand Wolves at all.
They suck.
This is
I was
game
thinking
Yuri
this game.
Tielemans scored that screamer, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a cracker.
Yeah, that was a
thing is too, you look at that team, it's like the team's good. On paper.
They really need a manager.
This is the game where Vardy sculled a Red Bull and come on.
My guy Vardy too. That was so fucking skills. And then howls at the crowd and then gives him the stinky, mate. You got to love to see it.
Vardy's on fire. Your defense is terrified.
Wolves, I think, are in genuine trouble.
Yeah.
Because Aston Villa sacked Stevie G and within 3 days signed a 4-time European Cup winning manager.
That's huge.
It's been 4 weeks for Wolves without a manager. They've had the QPR manager, Mick Beale, reject them. They've had Poch say no. They've had, I think, 4 or 5 other managers say, no thanks, not interested.
Well, it's tough for Wolves because they've got such a Portuguese-driven club that, I can't imagine managers of a different nation would want to manage, I guess.
But the talent they've got, the foundation they've got, but
it's all Portuguese. The only way for me is if they get a Portuguese manager. That's the only way. And who's the options?
I don't know.
What I mean?
I think just the decline since Nuno. I don't even think it's a decline since Nuno. I think Nuno had them playing so out of their skin. It's very, very hard to replicate that.
Definitely.
When it's not your team to replicate with.
And this is a good sign to see Leicester getting points on the board and slowly looking like their old ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Leicester have had a couple of big results the last few weeks. I think in particular, Tielemans scoring. Harvey Barnes is looking marvellous again. Madison, I wouldn't say is looking any worse. He's just not the only player in that team that's actually playing decent football now.
Madison for me is easily Leicester's. shining light.
Yeah, but like he's not been in the spotlight the same way he was 3 weeks ago scoring goals because
I feel like everyone else has sort of realised that they can show up on game day as well.
I think they're also realising if they don't, they're going to lose him in January.
Yeah. I think they'll lose him anyway.
The Saudis are coming and they're coming with money. And if he has a big World Cup, because if Southgate doesn't pick him, Southgate's
I don't think he does,
That's
The biggest shock for me in this game was more Wolves, like being at home losing 4-0. They've been a team this year that don't really concede too many goals, especially at home.
Especially at home.
I think
But
now
they've just conceded 4 goals. No, they don't score either.
I'm not sure if it's a thing of desperation of them trying to get goals, which may lead to more leaks in the lines.
They just don't create though. That's the thing. Like
they're a shit team to watch. They are such a shit team to watch.
Too many chances, and when you don't create them, you can't let them go. But yeah, predictions for this one. Scash, you had it 1-0 Wolves. Jackie, you had it 2-1 Wolves. Benny, you had it 1-0 Leicester, and I had it as a 1-1 draw.
Am I the only one that got that?
Yeah.
And then
I think we're all thinking that Wolves at home are tough.
Yeah. Well, Leicester have just been shit this season.
Yeah.
As well.
I've stopped backing them because they were
Not me,
rubbish
mate.
and they pull that out.
Next is a big result.
There we go. Well, West Ham United versus Bournemouth at the London Stadium.
What?
I thought the other one's a big result, but yeah.
Tottenham, Newcastle, I thought we would.
Oh, is it? Well, yeah. Sorry,
we didn't
it
do
is
that
Tottenham,
one either.
Newcastle. It's just my list got messed up. Tottenham versus Newcastle. Newcastle
game.
on fire.
Almiron.
Oh, Miggy.
He's looking at Jack Grealish like, fuck you.
Yeah, do something.
Do you reckon he sent him a voice message by now?
Has to be.
Surely.
Has to have done.
I would have. If I was Almiron, I would have
South
sent
American accent. Hey, Jack, you suck. But yeah, I think
I feel like it'd be more high pitched with his big smile that he's got.
Yeah.
going.
True. I think Tottenham. I'm seeing a lot of things anti-Conte, and I can understand why. Because you bring in Antonio Conte to win you trophies, and the sacrifice for that is the football is shit.
Yeah.
You play horrible defensive football, which we said this exact thing start of the season. It's why I was happy we didn't have him at United.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unrest now that it's not happening.
Yeah, they're not really getting the results they were at the
not.
start. They're playing the same. They're playing just as shit as they were at the start of the
They
season.
just don't
but they
control games.
Yeah, they
like a Conte team dictates
Plays on
the
the back.
play. It plays around the back for 70 minutes, but there's them doing it and
Yeah.
you chasing the game and them grinding you down and then you scoring the goals.
At the same time, though, the 3 points off first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Conte outshouts are ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
it's very harsh, very, very harsh. But this is 4 or 5 games now where they've been very hot, cold, and it's against all the big dogs that you need to be picking points up against. Like,
and I
Chelsea.
think in Europe as well, they haven't been performing as well as
Nah,
they
you have
probably
to
should.
Did
win
we
that
even
last
touch
game.
on Tottenham versus Sporting?
yeah.
Did we?
Yeah,
Like
the
the-
Marcus Edwards goal.
The bloody offside from Harry Kane. That took 3 minutes to side.
And Conte went mental about
He
it.
did. He
Yeah.
got sent off, and he.
It is offside, but not much to talk about. It's just
Yeah,
fucking...
if the camera says it, it's offside.
I think the camera angle was what made it dubious.
Yeah,
If you wanna
I think
say
a
that.
dubious call was in this game, the Callum Wilson goal,
Yeah.
where Lloris comes out of his box and Callum Wilson doesn't do a whole lot wrong, but Lloris runs into him. Lloris gets there first, clears it, and sort of gets clattered by Wilson.
I mentioned it a few weeks ago that it might be time for Lloris to go. I think that for me is a Lloris mistake because he comes
Yeah.
out and instead of just twatting it, he sees Wilson there and he thinks, "Oh, let me touch it with my knee."
Yeah.
He's playing for that free kick. He realizes, "Oh, I've come too far here. I'm in
Yeah.
trouble. Like I've got to get something." And I think that's why the ref let it go.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
also a hell of a finish from Callum Wilson.
Yeah, left
One
foot.
hell of a finish
He's
from
on
Callum
fire.
Wilson.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Someone overnight said, out of the teams like City, Arsenal, whoever else is up top, Newcastle look like the Premier League leaders.
Yeah.
Conceded the least goals, I think.
Best defensive record,
Yeah.
scoring goals for fun.
They are, mate, Eddie Howe. That's all down to Eddie Howe. Like, yeah, they got the money, whatever, but they bought in
Yeah.
the right man for the job in Eddie Howe.
The recruitment's insane too. Like the players they've brought in, they've done super well.
The only bad signing they made is Chris Wood. Really, like for the money they paid for him, and
Yeah.
but that money sent Burnley down to
I
the
was about to say
championship.
that. Yeah, it's a
So
good
they
investment.
literally, the Saudis were like, all right, we're not getting relegated this year. How can we do that? We'll just take the best player from the team that's closest to us.
Super
Yeah.
interested to see the
That's fucking
signings,
shit. I said
their
that.
progression over the years.
I think their signings, like if they get Madison in January, they will be top 4.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe bet for me. If they get Madison, an extra bit of creativity, but then who
Matters.
drop
I
for?
think I was watching something earlier today where they were talking about Newcastle signings and what would be best for them, and their discussion was Matters might disrupt the balance in that midfield because if you look at Jolinton is an 8,
Yeah,
Bruno Guimaraes is
does what he wants, plays wherever.
play.
he wants.
Yeah, but at the moment he's playing probably a little bit deeper. But Bruno Guimaraes, like if you bring in Madison, he has to sit.
Yeah.
And I think you'll lose the best out of him if he
it's
has
either
to.
that or you play him in that wider area, and you're not going to drop Almiron. So do you drop? I mean,
I don't-
play him instead of Jacob Murphy, I suppose.
Yeah,
Murphy
I don't know,
shoots.
but to me, yeah, it's a tough one. Bringing in Matters could very well disrupt it. I think if they bring in Madison, they have to sort of court him into playing that Willock role of more of an 8 and less of a 10.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
Or even straight swap for
He has
Murphy.
done that.
Yeah, but when St. Maximin's fit, he's going to want
Yeah.
to play St. Maximin. So
but then that's more drive for St. Maximin. It's more drive for Almiron to keep him at that top.
Yeah.
it's a good. Yeah, I think
And
it's a good
also it's a
signing.
progressive step, isn't it?
You absolutely need quality players on the bench if you're going
Yeah.
to be.
That's
Challenging for the league.
Newcastle's weak point at the minute is
Yeah.
they make a substitution. You go, who?
Yeah, your bench has
Yeah.
to be like starters as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
to be able to compete.
But I think they should spend big on a winger. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
instead of sort of
Probably
like
do both to be
pushing
honest.
Matters there.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one in that PSV team who everyone has their eyes on now.
He plays striker, doesn't he?
Young Cody Gakpo. He can play anywhere across that.
Yeah.
And we almost
He's
had
coming
him
to
for
United,
35
mate.
mil.
Yeah.
And I'll take him. I wanted him over Anthony. I said it on this pod. I sat in this very room and
Yeah.
I said I want Cody Gakpo over
I
Anthony.
remember.
Look at the
I
ball
think-
go.
There's
Imagine Newcastle get top 4. They could just go for anyone.
Yeah.
Because they
Oh,
have
yeah.
that Champions League draw.
You know
Well,
what
that's
happens?
Mbappe.
Kylian Mbappe. That would be mental.
The two on the video I watched, the two that was talked about were Mudryk from Shakhtar,
yeah.
who
Yeah.
is dubbed to be £120 million, and Manchester City want him apparently.
Dumb money.
But to be fair, he looks like he's going to
It's
be.
enough money to end the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And the other one was Kvaratskhelia from Napoli.
There's no way
How do you
he's
say
playing.
it?
Say again?
Yeah, he's in fucking...
Kvaratskhelia, I think.
Is that the winger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's what I was
George
looking
and
for.
Messi.
Doesn't he have, like,
Unbelievable.
7 goals and 11 assists
Who?
this season.
Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah.
Well, Cody Gakpo has 22 goal contributions in all comps. Same as Erling
But-
Haaland.
I don't know. It's different. I think it's different kettle of fish doing it in Serie A and Champions League than it is doing it in
Oh, yeah, of course. But I'm
you know,
just,
Eredivisie. And
if we're comparing
Europa
numbers,
League.
I'm just saying there's numbers there.
but I think he'll go for a big fee too
Yeah, of course.
from Napoli.
Of course he will. But yeah,
Pushing on.
Tottenham in the mud. Newcastle on the fly.
Yeah.
Klopp's funny talking about the transfers before. One thing that Klopp does sort of, if he wants to put his 2 cents in, like we got Nunes straight after we played them. We got Minamino straight after we played them.
Good sign of that one.
After playing Napoli, like he was like talking about this guy. I'm not going to try and say his name. What's that again?
I think Cal had a better
Who else
pronunciation.
could be up to...
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia, yeah.
Yeah,
Kvaratskhelia.
like in the press conferences and things like that, Klopp's like, "Fuck yeah, this guy's good."
The George and Messi, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
What? And I think they signed him last window for like 5 mil or something.
Yeah, it's cheap
Ridiculous
as.
like that. But yeah, predictions for this one. Scousey, you had it 2-2. Benny, you had it 2-1 Tottenham. And then the geniuses that are Jack and myself both banged this in an exact 2-1
Oh, well,
in the
well,
form of the
boys.
mighty
7 points
Geordies.
for us.
Cheers, Cal.
No worries, mate. It's just what I do. And last but not least, as we come up on an hour 20 and we're only into the first game week we've got to talk about, West Ham hosted Bournemouth.
Pretty standard 2-0
Yeah.
win.
Touch on it. 2-0. Good on them.
Bournemouth. West
Yeah.
Ham getting back to what they can do.
Yeah.
Like I think we said it multiple times on this podcast. They started very average,
Yeah.
very shaky, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. I really like their midfield.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest turning point. I think Declan Rice has decided to put his boots on. He's gone, well, I can't just rest on the laurels that someone who's going to come and get me at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I got to make sure that people remember I'm Declan fucking Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like
fucking
in this game, he was huge, dropping in between the lines, forward and backwards to make those plays.
Ben Rama. I like Ben Rama. He's on the score sheet as well.
Yeah,
I rate him a lot.
You do like a bit of Ben Rama.
Yeah,
you
I
always
don't mind.
mention him.
Bit of Benny and also Kitty Zuma. I mean Kurt Zuma. He's good too. But yeah, no, not much to say about.
Not much. It's just
I
another.
think
win.
someone got an exact for this.
I think two people got an exact.
Did they?
So Jackie, you got it 2-1 to West Ham United. Benny, you got it
2-1.
3-1 to West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
Let me finish.
Let it do his
Ruined it.
segues. Let it do his
Idiot.
segues.
Sorry.
Ruining it. Why you're always ruining it? Benny, you got it 3-1 to West Ham United, and the two big brains in myself and Scass got it bang on at 2-0.
Well done.
Up the boys.
Let's go, Jackie.
2 in a row, Cal. Lovely.
If only you didn't interrupt me when I was saying
Sure,
it,
I was
then
thinking,
we
should
would-
we break it up?
We will break it up.
Yeah, because it's been off fucking...
We've had a lot of chat.
So are we starting with England or are we starting with the XIs?
Let's start. We've mentioned the Prem. We've mentioned the Prem. Let's go straight on the England team. So us boys this week, obviously we're a very Prem heavy football podcast here. We've all done a little list up of what. So by the time this comes out next week, we'll be just under a week away from the squads being officially announced. We've all done our 26-man England squads.
I've actually put it in a formation as well.
So have I.
Oh, have you?
No, I haven't. I've just
I
named
haven't. I've
players
just
and
done a
positions.
26-man squad, and I'll make me decisions on game days as to who
Should we
plays
just go
where.
through like keepers, all name keepers,
Yeah.
then defenders, name
Yeah.
defenders?
So here we go.
Say your first choice too, I reckon. Your first choice keeper.
I
keeper's
think there's
pretty
only
standard.
one first choice for me, and that is Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, it's got to be
I think-
Pickford.
Oh, I went Ramsdale.
I've gone Rambo, yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah,
even
but
make my
that's-
three.
I think you
What?
guys are pretty biased against Pickford.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can't
What?
deny that Ramsdale's had a good season.
Yeah, but
So
Pickford's
is
been
Pickford.
unreal for
I think-
England.
Yeah.
Pickford is the England number one, and he's also been fantastic for Everton this year. I don't think Ramsdale's
Yeah.
definitely not done enough to take that shirt for me, and also he's not on my three goalkeepers to go.
Also, Ramsdale's
who else?
game for England was pretty poor, his debut, from memory.
Yeah.
Whereas Pickford has shown up every single, pretty much, tournament they've
Pickford
been in.
saved Jorginho's pen in a European
Yeah.
shootout, mate.
Pickford will start in the World Cup.
Yeah,
Just 'cause of
100%.
Southgate.
There's
and
no
his
Rambo,
experience,
Rambo
but
was my number
I
two,
do like
which,
Ramsdale.
which I think maybe Cal got Pope number two.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's
My,
your three then?
my number two is Nick Pope, and then for tactical reasons, because he's unreal on penalties.
So you haven't even picked Rambo.
Dean Henderson is my
You're
third choice
nuts.
goalkeeper because, and this is because I'm not just statistics, I'm thinking of a cup competition. Dean Henderson this season against penalties has
Yeah.
been unreal.
That's fair.
If we're in that penalty shootout, I'm bringing on Dean Henderson. As good as Pickford has been for us, I'm bringing on Dean Henderson.
Well, Pickford can't reach the corners with his little arms.
Oh,
So.
yeah. Turn it out.
What was that bias towards
Sorry,
Dean Henderson?
Yes, there is bias, but also he's unreal this season.
Yeah, he's got the most penalties.
So who's
Yeah,
everyone's-
so is Rambo. Rambo's good.
Not as good again. Mate,
I would
this is
take
penalties.
Pope
I'm
out
tactical.
Same. I went Pickford, Ramsdale, Henderson.
Oh, really?
I got Rambo, Pickford, Pope.
That's what I've got.
I took Henderson.
Well,
Jeez,
Oh,
big
balanced.
brains, guys.
Pretty balanced.
I think either of those lists will work, to be honest.
Yeah.
How about
So
I think they're the four names. I
Yeah.
don't
Should
think there's anybody else.
Centre back?
centre backs.
Yeah.
Well, my defenders, I've just got them all lumped in together. But I
Oh.
guess,
Right, we can do that, I suppose.
yeah. My defenders, I've got James Tarkowski, Connor Cody.
Wait, are they starting? Are you doing this
I'm
in
just,
a
mate,
list?
I've
No,
just,
you just listen.
just name, I don't have me starting lineup. I just got,
Oh,
I'm
right, all
changing
right.
game to game, mate.
Relax.
Sometimes we'll
Me
need
and you
big
can
boys,
do it,
sometimes
'cause we
we'll need
got-
less.
Yeah.
I still on you are.
But yeah, I've gone Tarkowski, Dan Burn, Connor Cody, Fikayo Tomori, and Ben White.
As centre backs.
Yeah, Ben White can play
I was
on
gonna say, where are you?
right back
Fullbacks?
as well.
All right. Well, I've gone. So you haven't taken John Stones.
Mate, I told you, I said in the group chat, I'm picking mostly on form. And for me,
Yeah, well-
John Stones is up there, but
John Stones and Tomori start for me, and then I've got Cody, Maguire, and Gomez, who I'm regretting after this.
Joe Gomez was almost on my list, I will
Gomez is
admit.
good.
Because
He's
of
on
his
my list.
utility as well, his ability to go right back
Yeah.
or centre back.
But I also have Ben White. He is
See,
a right back option.
I feel like the difference in this one is I'm picking because I want to win the World Cup, whereas you boys are just picking the best England players. You know what
No,
No.
that doesn't make much sense.
I mean?
I
doesn't
actually
my
don't
head, mate.
really like. We talk about the Premier League, so we're doing England, but I actually don't care if England win or lose.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm picking as in my head, I'm thinking, well, if someone gets injured, Ben White
Well,
can
so
go right back. And sort me team
have
out
I,
there.
though. I think I've picked similar to that. But, yeah, the way I've sort of thought about it is Stones and Cody are sort of can play that role at left centre-back or right centre-back, whichever one they want. And then I've gone for Tamori and Gomez to inject a bit of pace next to him. But Walker can play that as well.
Walker's in my list as well.
But and Ben White. But yeah, I've gone Tamori. That's why I put Gomez in, because he's quick. Probably the next quickest England centre back. So I put him in, and then I had 25 players at the end of it, so I put Maguire in because.
Well, my three starters are Walker, right centre back, Stones, centre back, and Tamori, left centre back.
Oh, you're going back five, have you?
Yeah, that's what they
That's
play
what
usually.
England play.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've gone Gomez, Tamori, Stones, Walker, and I couldn't choose between Cody or Ben White. So it'd be like hit and miss with both of them, but
Fair.
My
Well,
next
pretty-
one's just to
quite similar.
Yeah, pretty similar except for
we'll move on
Cowles.
real quick. Is my neck bench, I guess, is Gomez, Maguire, Dyer, Connor Cody.
Dyer, see, I looked at Dyer and I was like,
Dyer is something that
nowhere in
Southgate's going to take, but he's just
Well,
fucking...
Should
I
know
feel
where-
like that's
be
just
nowhere near.
that's
That's a
probably like a
Southgate pick.
Pickford,
Yeah.
Who's
Pickford pick as well.
That's a Gareth Southgate
Yeah,
sucking
Southgate.
him off.
Pickford's good though. Dyer's not that
Dyer's,
good.
Dyer is literally
alright.
Dyer.
I don't like him at all. I don't rate him.
I
I think
think
Maguire's
so, yeah.
better than him.
He's done one good thing in an England shirt, which is that penalty against Colombia.
I was going to
They got
say
us
when he
through.
fucked Ramos in the arse, just in a slide tackle for no reason.
That too. But that
Alright.
penalty for me, I was crying because of that penalty.
Should we push the left back then?
Well,
Yeah, I'll do
Just go
wing backs.
fullbacks.
Fullbacks.
yeah, just go
Fullbacks,
fullbacks because
Okay.
I don't have them in positions, mate.
How
I've
many
just
have we
got
picked? 'Cause
collection.
I've got 5.
I've got 4.
Well, I've got 1, 2, 3.
Well, I've got
Because
4
Ben
plus
White can
Walker.
play there, but the other 3 I've got Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier, and Ben Chilwell.
Mine are
It's not James.
He's injured.
yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I didn't pick Reece
Yeah,
James.
that's why he was the
I didn't
first
see
player I
that.
put in my defenders,
Yeah.
but I changed him for Ben
I
White.
knew you weren't picking Trent.
Yeah.
No.
Shouldn't
Well, I'm
be
picking
near
on
the squad.
form. There's
Yeah.
there's no.
But he shouldn't be near the squad as well.
No.
Mine is Kyle Walker at right back, Luke Shaw at left back, which may be a little bit of bias,
It's
but he's
contentious.
come back
That's
into
definitely
the
biased.
Very
Yeah.
contentious.
Well, he's come back
If
into
you're
the
picking
team.
Luke Shaw over Trent, like I know they played opposite side.
Yeah.
Well, even Luke
But
Shaw over Chilwell's crazy.
Well,
Well, who else
I don't
you
know
pick?
because I think Chilwell has been he's been okay this season, but I think Shaw's come back in for Malacia into the United squad, and since he's come back in, he's been unreal. Every game he's played, he's been very good. There's a few games still to go, a fair few weeks till the World Cup. I think he'll play really well leading up to it.
But the
So-
thing you were saying before about Luke Shaw is that he can't stay consistent. Like he just drops off and goes trash.
Yeah, but
And
when he has these spells of
Yeah.
where he is good,
We look at the Euros
you've
last
gotta
year.
pick
He's-
him.
He scored our goal in that
Yeah.
Euro final. Like he was brilliant in that tournament too. So
plus who else is what other left back options are there? You have to, in my
Chilwell.
opinion, you have to have 2, and I've got actually Trippier listed as a left back option.
You can
Yeah,
play
so do I.
Trippier. That's why you take him because you can put him anywhere, and
Yeah.
he's England's best right back. So
So I've got Trippier, Chilwell, and Ben White as my backup fullbacks.
yeah, Ben White for me can go there as well.
Yeah.
well,
I've got.
oh,
Oh,
you go.
you go.
I was gonna say my fullbacks, I'm not including Walker because I want to put him centre back, is Chilwell, Trippier, and Trent on my 3 choices.
3. That seems so low. Oh, because you got Walker.
Well, we've got
So,
Walker
yeah.
and then you got Gomez who can play out there too, and
Yeah.
Ben White who can play out. But
Plenty of coverage.
Well,
And Burn for me can
yeah.
play left back. You know.
Well, I've got Trent and Trippier as my 2 wing backs, and then Chilwell, and I had Reece James, but I can put Ben White there instead.
I'm keen to hear our midfield shouts.
Same.
Well, let me take it away. There's one name that gets on that team sheet first and foremost. Hey
Glenn Rice.
Jude.
Declan Rice for me.
Yeah,
Bellingham
Jude,
has first
Jude and
name.
Rice obviously start.
Yeah,
I think
So
they
for
were
me-
the first 2 names I put on
Yeah.
this team.
So
literally
who,
same.
what
Rice and
are you
Jude.
playing? Is everyone playing a midfield 3?
I don't have a formation.
Yeah, I've
mate.
just got names.
picked
Okay.
I'm playing what England play, which is a 5-2-3.
Okay.
But yeah, my midfielders:
So 2
Jude
midfielders.
Bellingham, Declan Rice, Mason Mount, James Maddison, Conor Gallagher, and James Ward-Prowse.
That's almost exactly mine, but instead of Ward-Prowse, I went Henderson.
Yeah, again, Ward-Prowse is there because when you need to slow a game down or when you have a set piece, that in a World Cup final, you want James Ward-Prowse on that ball.
My thoughts is dressing room. Henderson's going to be a massive, massive figure in that England dressing room.
Yeah.
You can't really leave him out for a big World Cup. But I went midfield 3 and I have Rice sitting with Matters and Bellingham starting, but like as 8, I guess. With Madison, because Rice is sitting, I think Madison would have a little bit more freedom. But I was very close to starting Mount. I think those two are just...
For me, it's Matters or Mount, either or.
Yeah.
You can play, like, I would put Madison almost in the forwards category as being able to play him out wide off Kane as well.
I actually don't think Rice can play in a one.
No, he's got to be a double pivot.
Yeah.
I'll disagree.
Why?
Because I think he can do it.
He definitely can do it, but he's not, because he's evolved so much as a footballer, he's much more attackingly based than he was even at World Cup.
You lose a lot of his strengths if you're just telling him, you're sitting there, don't move.
But you've got...
Because his drive with the ball
his
is...
ability to drive and cut the lines. Is
You've got Bellingham there as well, who can sit in and help.
Again, a bit wasted.
Yeah, you're wasting his talent.
I think...
Okay.
So I've got Rice and Drew playing together as 2.
Yep.
I'm thinking, like, obviously Drew's the more attacking one, so he'll probably do that more. But if Rice does go, he can sit in, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And obviously vice versa.
You got Scasey G?
Yeah, I don't have a formation. I'm just going to go like a list of players.
That's the same as what I've got.
James Milton, I'm joking. Bellingham, Declan Rice, Jordan Hendo, Conor Gallagher, Phil Foden, Maddison, Ward-Prowse, and Mount.
I like it.
So I've got Hendo and Mount as my 2 backup midfielders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, forward line then. My forwards, I've got Harry Kane, obviously.
I've got him.
Marcus Rashford, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Ivan Toney, Raheem Sterling, Tammy Abraham, and Jack Grealish.
Tammy, lad.
Exactly the same as mine, but no Tammy Abraham. I went for 3. I went for a front 3 and I went Kane, Foden and Saka to start.
Yep.
And then I went one replacement for the wingers. So I've got Grealish on the left to replace Foden. I've got Sterling on the right to replace Saka. And then I've got 3 strikers. But I've put Rashford up there, who can play and should play really off the left. But I've gone Kane, Toney and Rashford because I think Tammy's harsh to miss him out, but I think I would take Toney over Tammy. And I think Kane, Tammy, and Toney are all very similar strikers.
Ivan Toney, you take purely for the fact. Again, if there's a penalty shootout, he does not miss.
I was very close to taking Callum Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Callum
just
Wilson.
he's in mine.
Yeah.
I literally flipped the coin. It was Tammy Abraham or Callum Wilson. The only reason I wouldn't take Callum Wilson is for the injury risk.
But then I would argue though, you as something different bring Callum Wilson because I do think Tammy Abraham, Ivan Toney, and Harry Kane are all very similar.
Wilson's in my team.
I mean, it's literally a flip of the coin. And again, it's purely if you're in the 89th minute, you throw on a Tammy Abraham to lump balls up to him and win knock-ons.
Yeah.
Cheese it out that way.
For me, I just realised one of these players I should have put in midfield, no attack. But that was Harvey Elliott. So back in midfield, but I would bring him.
He was a shout for me. He was very close to being on that midfield list.
Really?
Yeah. Raheem Sterling, Kane, Wilson, Toney, Rashford, and Saka. Yeah. So I'm leaving Grealish out on my World Cup. That's probably my big rager shout.
Grealish, for me, is purely there because you sub him on and he wins you a foul and slows the game down. It's very tactical, like a sub you make. And because he can. Every now and then he has that little spark where he just pulls teams
He's very
apart.
good for England too, Grealish. He's
I think it's a bit overhyped how good he is for England, personally. Yeah. I think it's because he's our bright spark, because he's so different, because he carries the ball and he drives, and everyone goes, "Ooh, I'd have a bit of that." That's most of it.
Yeah, but I mean that's good. You want something like that, I think.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's a bit stars in your eyes how good he is.
Yeah,
I think personally.
My front 3 is the same as Benny's. Kane up front, Foden left, Saka right. My backup is Grealish for Foden on the left, Sterling for Saka on the right. And I've got Callum Wilson and Ivan Toney. No Rashi.
No Rashi.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Rashi is one you take or leave. Like, He doesn't play a lot for England anyway, so you take him or leave him. But
Yeah.
I think in the form he's in,
that's the only reason I put him in.
Like if I had to choose Rashford or Grealish, I would choose Rashford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking... probably change it, to be honest. I think Rashford in there is just good for versatility.
I think this is the most exciting England squad in a long time, especially with fucking the way Phil Foden's playing at the moment.
I think the next World Cup's another 4 years from now, when this team is
Peak.
unreal. Like, it's going to be like when Dean Henderson is England's number one, which I think he will be in the next 4 years. When Jude Bellingham is 23 years old, fucking peaking. When Declan Rice is like 26, or no,
28.
Harvey Elliott.
Harvey Elliott is going to be in there. There's loads of young England, like Marcus
Jesse Lingard.
Edwards.
When Trent's learned to defend when he's 26.
God, it's fucking Jesse Lingard, you can't. Yeah,
I think all those teams are pretty.
I was going to say, I'm surprised at how
good.
similar they all are.
Yeah, I think the only rogue shout was Trent.
And
Maguire.
Yeah, the fact that none of you named Dan Burn as well for me is confusing, because for Newcastle he's been fucking immense, and he's so much more than a 6'7" defender is on paper. Like, he can actually play a ball. He's very quick. He plays left back for Newcastle, very quick.
Yeah, well, I mean we
not
said it
England
already.
quality yet.
They've got the best defense in the league, so
Yeah,
probably should be in there. But
him and Trips, I think.
maybe that's top six bias from me.
Yeah, him, Trips, Cody, and Tarkovsky, I think, almost certainly have to be there, or at least 3 of them have to be there. There you go.
What are we doing? World Cup 11? Are we doing that?
Yeah, let's jump into that.
Yeah.
So, little challenge this week to the boysies. We have to build an 11 based on nations going to the World Cup. You can have a maximum of 1 player from that nation. You don't have to use every nation, obviously, because there's only 11 players. But, yeah, a little challenge for the boys. Get the old brains ticking to see who's in the World Cup.
I can't wait to hear my striker.
Best of the best. So, go on then, Jackie. You kick us off.
Should we name the whole team?
Yeah, name your teams.
Yeah.
And formation.
Spit the whole things out, yeah.
So I've gone 4-3-3 with the one sitting. So my goalkeeper is Alisson.
I like it. I like it.
Back 4, starting from right back, is Trent, Diaz, Virgil, Davies, Alphonso Davies.
Oh,
Canada.
I like the Canadian
That's a good
shout.
shout,
That's a great shout. Well done.
Modric, 6.
All right.
Valverde and KDB in the midfield. Messi right wing, Mane left wing, and Tim Cahill up front.
Fuck off.
No, I've gone
That's Jamie McLaren.
I've gone Mbappe up front.
Yeah,
I like that team a lot.
Honestly,
not bad.
was struggling for a striker, to be honest. That I haven't already used from the nations.
Alphonso Davies is a
Yeah, I
rogue
didn't
shout.
think
It's
of
one
it.
of those players you don't think. I was looking at,
Yeah.
because obviously we got the old Panini sticker book out, so I had all the nations on the front of it there, and I was like going through the team, like, Canada, no, everyone sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe Jonathan David, but that's a stretch there.
Yeah.
You want to go next?
Let's go to G. Take it away.
So I've done a 3-4-1-2.
Ooh.
So
Interesting.
3 at the back, but I think my defense is strong enough to hold down the fort. So in goals, I got Alisson. My back 3 is Rudiger, Virgil, and Ruben Diaz. And then my 2 central midfielders are Bellingham and Valverde. And then I've got a flat 3 of a left mid, centre attacking mid, and right mid of Mane, De Bruyne, and Messi. And up front, I've got Mbappe and Lewandowski.
Jeez.
That's very attacking.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's very
That's a
attacking.
lot of ballers fitting in there as well. I
Yeah.
like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
a
Jude
strong
Bellingham. It's a
side.
good shout.
Yeah, I like my balls, mate. I mean, what?
I'll go mine next.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Can I ask what's your 3 centre backs? Like, where are they playing?
That's it, mate. So looks like that.
So Rudiger left centre back, Virgil centre back, Ruben Diaz right centre back. Yep.
Yeah, right.
What do you got then?
Well,
Ben?
Rudiger played there for Chelsea. I don't. Yeah, so that's sweet. Diaz.
Yeah, and the reason I put Virgil in the middle is because he's probably got the best ability with the ball in case he has to step up a bit to as a CDM transition to centre back just to help out with the midfield.
I'm probably getting too technical with this, but Virgil's pace, like in one of the wider ones, probably for Diaz, would be better in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm getting too technical, but it's fine. Very good team. Very good team.
Yeah, so I went. I actually didn't have an England player in my squad, which is interesting. Probably a bit
contentious.
Yeah. I went Alisson and net as well. I had Hakimi at right back, Rudiger and Virgil as the centre backs, and Cancelo at left back. And then I had Rodri.
Wait, sorry, say centre backs again? I missed that.
Rudiger and Virgil.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
And then I had Rodri holding the midfield with KDB and Valverde. And then I had Messi on the left, Salah on the right, and Mbappe up top.
No one's choosing Mane.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, well, don't worry, it's all good.
Yeah, I was close, but I think Salah's better.
Salah, he's on the World Cup.
Egypt too, though.
No, not.
Are they?
Oh my.
Are they?
Oh,
I swear I checked.
God.
No,
They
Egypt
didn't
not on the
make
World
it.
Cup.
God, I think they're correct. You know, I can't off the top of my head. I can't confirm. Yep, no Egypt in the World Cup.
Well, I just put Messi on the right and on the left.
No, you fail. You suck. Your team is no. That's embarrassing. There's no defending yourself. I want a formal apology on air to all the listeners for having to listen to that absolute nonsense.
I formally apologise. I swear I swear someone threw it on pitch side too, Salah. That's where I heard the shout.
What, where they also put Donnarumma in goal, mate?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I knew about that
So-
one, but no one picked up the Salah. Yeah, okay, well, you know, I've made a mare there, so.
Well done. Well done for ruining the
Do you want to just go into your team? Thanks, mate.
I do.
We should end it now.
So I've got 11 players who are
Unlucky.
going to the World Cup. As per the rules of this challenge.
I'm
I've
a rule
followed
breaker,
them.
mate.
So I've gone the old English formation, mate. The old 4-4-2.
Yes.
Can't go wrong.
Good old
So
Roy Hodgson.
completing the set, I have Alisson in nets. Right back, I have Kieran Trippier. My centre backs are Manuel Akanji and Virgil van Dijk. Left back, I have Joao Cancelo. Right mid, I have Fede Valverde. The two centre mids, I have De Bruyne and Luka Modric. Left mid, Sadio Mane. And that leaves up top the PSG strike force. It is Messi and Kylian Mbappe.
I think yours is the worst.
I'm sorry, you don't get an opinion anymore because you failed the challenge. You get to sit there in silence and be sad.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Akanji at centre back's a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, look, because originally in this team I had Kimmich in the midfield.
I was going to say,
And
wow.
then I took
Yeah.
Kimmich out, and so I forgot that Germany was a free nation, so I could have used Rudiger.
Yeah.
Goretzka was also my shout from Germany, was going to be in that midfield, but
My
in the
German Hassel was having Leroy Sané trying to fit him in somewhere.
yeah, he
I just
was.
couldn't.
I didn't get a German player, eh?
I was.
I thought you had Rudiger.
No.
That was me.
Diaz and Virgil.
Yeah, right.
Again, there's so many players in that Portugal team. Originally, I had Cristiano in it, and then that was just my United tinted glasses showing me the way.
Yeah, I changed mine. I had Casemiro.
Yeah, we didn't change it enough, did you?
Well, that's why I didn't put Mane as well, because originally I had Mendy in net, because I had Casemiro. So I had Mendy in goals, and that's what, yeah, but whatever. We'll move on. There's no excuses.
Sorry, listeners. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was away last week, and I'm sorry that's happened. It's just embarrassing.
Oh,
Onwards and upwards.
So on to the next game weekend.
On to the next game week. We've not quite finished, so as we said, we've still got Arsenal, Nottingham, and United and West Ham still to play. So we'll kind of rattle through these ones. Leicester versus Man City.
Struggling
like we
with
said.
Hallie.
Man City struggling to score goals. They were dominant as ever.
Yeah.
It took a piece of De Bruyne magic.
That free
Some-
kick. That
Could
woke
not
me
have
up.
put it anywhere else.
I was literally half asleep. I was on the couch, like drifting off and waking up and drifting off. And so I opened my eyes and just saw De Bruyne line up a free kick, and I was like, I'll keep one eye open for this. Cunt scores, eh? I'm like,
We
oh
were,
my
we were
days.
out at the pub. We not
Yeah.
long been back in and watched the end of this game, and it was, you know,
pretty shit, to be honest.
yeah, sad we made the girls sit through it.
I
Yeah.
think Leicester did well in terms of just
Yeah.
making it hard for City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they actually did really well.
Well, Tony took. So I was speaking to him today, obviously. He was saying, like, full credit to Leicester, really. Like, they defended. It was
Very
hard
well.
for City to break down.
And the way they were man marking too was fucking very impressive as well. Like, they gave no player really space to run with the ball at all. They were very tight.
A surprise for me and you, I think, last night, we seen Sionchu back
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first time in a while for
Long
He
Leicester.
did well, though.
He was
I thought
decent. Like, I don't understand why he's not. Maybe there's some personal beef.
I think
yeah,
so.
It has to be, because I've always liked him.
Yeah, it changed that Leicester defence, really. They go
Yeah.
from Fates and Amati. Amati is just shocking in that
Yeah,
defence.
I hate him. I think he's rubbish.
horrible to watch.
No time for him, eh?
No, he's just...
He shouldn't be
he
anywhere
just
near a Premier League
stinks.
side.
It just stinks.
Yeah, he
like
sucks.
the way he moves the ball, just be
He
better.
sucks.
at
He's just
football.
not good.
You're on a professional wage. Just be better.
I just don't
That's
get
all
why.
you like,
I think
mate.
the big frustration is he gets picked every fucking week.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, who knows what's happened with Soyuncu? He was supposed to leave the club. Obviously, things have gone that dire that Brendan Rodgers has decided to make some changes finally. But yeah, full up the lads.
Prediction on the Aldios.
There you go, mate. Smooth as anything. We all had this one as a bit of a goal fest, as we do every time Man City play football. Scousey, you had it 3-0 to City. Benny and Jackie both had it 4-0, and I had it 4-1.
I was tempted to go a low-scoring game in this one just because of City's recent struggle of scoring. But
But you didn't.
I didn't, so
But this
don't worry about it.
this next
Tottenham,
game,
Bournemouth,
Bournemouth,
2-0 up.
2-0 up.
Fucking Bournemouth.
I
You
mean,
see, as well in this Conte when Bentancur scored the last one to put him in the lead, Conte just walked down the tunnel.
yeah.
Really?
There's
I
a-
think
there's a
he
real
came
beef
back
there.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just looked. He was so unimpressed.
I was watching something. Because obviously he speaks Italian, so does Bentancur, because he was at Juventus. They bicker at each other in Italian, and cameras have started picking it up. And Conte's saying stuff like "you're shit, you're worthless," like just roasting him on the field. But Bentancur is assisting and scoring goals and being a powerhouse in their midfield. So who knows? This is what happens when Conte starts to lose.
Yeah,
The
the
dressing
dressing
room
room.
Like
bit,
you see, it's happened at just about every club. Juventus,
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Nonce.
He just all right.
Everyone was thinking it.
But it's huge for Sessegnon, I think, to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, well taken goal too.
Greatly
Yeah.
taken goal. Apparently, Premier League man of the match for this one was Bentancur. So well done, lad.
I thought Kiefer Moore deserved it.
Yeah, double for
Double.
him. A fantastic season for him, considering what Bournemouth have been doing. He's scoring goals.
That's a fan-voted man of the match. by
Yeah,
the
They've
way.
done really well, eh?
I don't go by that, to
Bournemouth.
be honest.
Bournemouth have done huge to bounce back from where they were.
Second,
like
yeah.
I sat here and I said, we'll be lucky to see him get another point this season. I think the manager,
Like
is
shit
it
in your
Gary
mouth.
O'Neill they've got
Yeah,
leading the line? I think
Yeah.
what they're doing again, another team that can't find a manager, but by having someone like him who's just
Yeah.
getting results, I dare say, and this is not my opinion, this is me regurgitating somebody else's, but I like it, so I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. I do it too, mate.
I've heard it would be nice if they were like, hey, look, we're not going to announce that you've got the job. We're not going to tell the boys you've got the job, but you've got the job. So you keep them in this mindset, keep them playing football, and then when they start asking
he
questions,
doesn't get the job.
we'll come out and say, well, maybe he doesn't. But on the form that they were 2-0 up against Spurs,
they lost.
but they've had good, like,
I know.
for a team
I know,
like
I get
Bournemouth,
what you're saying,
and they're
yeah.
not in the relegation zone.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll get the job. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, who else do you get in for a team like Bournemouth, really?
Yeah.
Steven
Scott
Gerrard.
Parker.
Steven
Scott
Gerrard.
Parker, Get him back in.
20% less wages.
Mate, Liverpool might try and get him in the job so they can get another win again. But yeah, Spurs pulling it out their arse, 3-2. Predictionos for this one. Scousey had it 2-0 Tottenham. Jackie, you had it 3-1 Tottenham.
Fucking close.
Benny, you had it 2-1 Tottenham, and I had it 2-0 Tottenham. So we all get the result, but a little bit more
Up the
contentious
boys.
than we thought.
Next one is
Off we go to an
Brentford.
very low scoring game, as to be expected when Wolverhampton Wanderers are involved. But Ruben Neves again, if he doesn't score
Bit of
from
a
the spot, he
screamer.
scores from outside the box
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
And Brentford in that purple patch where they just can't seem to to find those gears
so hit and
again.
miss. They're just too hit and miss. Brentford.
Costa's red card, 97th minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit soft, wasn't it?
I personally thought it was a little bit of a headbutt, but
Yeah.
that's
You
what Costa does.
You can't do it, but like
Yeah.
they get sent off all the time.
Yeah.
Also,
Why
it's
even
the
doing it?
intention.
Yeah.
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 Not
But,
much to say about this.
Yeah,
game.
Neves just sprinted at the ball and it just counted off his foot.
He also,
That's it.
the player,
yeah, like that's what he did.
the player receiving the ball, he just screams out like, "Nope,
Yeah.
leave it, it's mine, I'm here."
And he just kept sprinting.
I feel for Neves because I think he is far
Shining
too good to
star
be
in
in
that
that
team.
Wolves side. He should have got a move in the summer.
To United.
We don't really need him now, do we?
Well, it wouldn't hurt to have him though, would it? You know, depth is
I think we've got
quality.
other issues.
Yeah, we definitely do, mate. Like Scott McTominay still plays for us.
Glazes out still.
Of course.
Yeah, oh, of course.
Never
We
not
should,
be.
yeah. We've not
Biggest issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
we've not prefaced it enough.
Also,
Glazers
right
out.
back. We need a right back cover.
Okay.
Dalot's played every
We
single
can get to
minute.
Man United
Go on.
next week because they haven't played yet.
Yeah.
This one, our predictions for it, Jack and Scass, you both had it 2-1. Benny, you had it 1-0. All three of you in the favour of Brentford. And I had it 1-1.
You changed it.
Yes,
just then, I've
Cal.
Yeah, you changed that. That was success.
You know what? I did these while I was steaming drunk last week too. So
Very
up
good
the
start.
boys. Right, I'm on fire. Off we go to Graham Potter's return to Brighton Hove
Damn.
Albion. And I tell you what, them Brighton boys fucking played like it too.
Yeah.
They were unreal. Leandro Trossard, that is a man who is looking to get a move to a big dog club.
Sorry, mate.
You're right, mate.
He wants Potter to sign him at Chelsea.
I also think the Chelsea boys forgot they played for Chelsea because they scored 2 own goals. Unfortunately, the two
Good
youth products in Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Trevoh Chalobah both scoring goals, which doesn't help in a 4-1 thrashing at the Amex.
That's a big win.
Big win.
It's a big
Trossard.
statement.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Oh, I was just wanted to say it was a big statement. Yeah.
Trossard, quick feet for his goal.
Very quick.
Beaten Kepa.
He's
Kepa the keeper.
He's a joke.
He
His
also-
his confidence, Trossard's confidence is, I think, is ridiculous. The way, like, obviously he takes it around, but then the finish he does when there's two players on the
a
line,
little
he could
La Croqueta and then just...
on his left foot too,
Just
Yeah.
calm.
just smashes it into the side netting. Like,
Yeah.
like anyone else, you think in that situation, you're thinking, don't miss. Like
Yeah.
I rounded the keeper, don't miss. He's not thinking that. He's like, I can't miss.
Also,
Yeah.
That's what I reckon he's thinking.
this game, Pascal Gross, by the looks of it, played right back. He's been playing...
No, he played striker.
Well,
Well,
the Premier League's got it damn wrong then. But yeah, for the Premier League says he played
Well,
right
maybe
back.
he did because I think Trossard
Yeah.
was up top.
Yeah.
But the team sheet before it, when I watched the
Yeah, we're watching.
mini match
Oh, no, yeah. It's
this
nice.
earlier today, and the team sheet had Pascal Gross at striker, but Trossard
Yeah,
started
well,
there.
when the team news, we were watching the City game, the team news came out and he was listed up top. But
Yeah, I don't know.
they also, Kepa came off at half time.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
I will be full honest. I've had a busy day, so I've not watched the games today. I saw the goals and I noticed that Mendy went in, and I've just looked it up then. And yeah, he came off at half time. So
Yeah.
you know, it
What was the
didn't
score at half time?
3-0.
3-0.
Oh, okay.
So it could be Graham Potter. He's a savage when it comes to, as we said,
Yeah.
making tactical changes. Kai Havertz's goal, very well taken. Great ball in by Gallagher, but a very well taken header.
It's a good header.
As I was saying, he's really moulding into that striker role. But yeah,
It was a great cross.
great.
Great
Conor
cross.
Gallagher. He's a real talent, Conor Gallagher.
He's
Real
overused.
But yeah, that's also, I think, the first win for Roberto.
Yeah.
What's his face? I
Old
don't know his
Brighton
name.
man.
Yeah.
That's Graham Potter's first loss too
Yeah.
as Chelsea manager.
Yeah. Very, very, very.
He had a few
contentious
draws then
times.
because I don't get a
Yeah.
good vibe from Chelsea at the moment. I don't know
Who?
why.
Potter.
Yeah. Has he had a few
I
draws?
thought he'd won every
No,
single
I
game.
think they've been steamrolling teams.
Pretty
yeah.
sure he's won every single game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Just not getting a good vibe.
No, 'cause
Sorry,
they drew
Jonesy.
against United. And
Oh yeah.
they drew
Yeah,
against
that's-
Brentford the week before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but they've still been good in those games. Like,
Yeah.
and he,
No, not against United, mate.
all right, grow up. But like, they have been good, and I think they're going to stay. Like, this is a blip in a speed bump in their roadmap of success under Graham Potter. I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, to go back, like he left on pretty good terms with Brighton. I think the fans were very much
They gave it to him.
I think
They said they were singing, "You're getting sacked."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for them, they were kind of like, well, thanks for everything you've done.
Yeah.
We were expecting this. It would be nice to not have it in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, predictions for that one.
Predictions for this one. None of us had it as a 4-1 Brighton win, sadly. Scaris had it at 2-1 Chelsea. Jackie had it as a 2-2 draw. And Benny and I also both had it as 2-1 Chelsea. So we're all very original in that one.
Off to Pally, Big Edward.
Off to Pally, my boy. Odson Edward. Do I get my Zaha shirt? Do I get my Edward shirt? Because man like Edward is... I love watching him play football, to be honest. He makes very smart runs.
You called the shit back for the kit.
Yeah, look, I might have to send him back on the range. I might have to get the away kit.
Turn around
to be
again.
fair. The Zaha home kit and an Edouard away kit. No, I think this is obviously coming off Southampton getting the 1-1 draw against Arsenal the week before for them to now drop points here.
And Palace bounced back from Everton.
Yeah, Palace, they needed it too. Like we said, they're in that lower section of the league. You kind of have to put these results away, and it's good to see them do it.
Well, they're sitting 10th now, so...
There you go. Moving on up. But yeah, predictions for this one. Jackie, you banged it as a 1-0. Scarsy, you had it 2-0 to Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Benny, you had it as a 1-1 draw, and I had it 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Let's go, Jackie.
Up the boys. Well done, man.
Next one is...
Away we go to Villa, and this is where you think maybe it's not quite Stinky Steve, or maybe it's just Newcastle are absolute
Newcastle are
savages.
unreal.
I think that
Callum Wilson, fucking hell.
the Villa sort of bounce back lasted its run its course.
I mean, it's hard to bounce back against a team in such good form as Newcastle.
Yeah, I feel like you just
Newcastle
give-
are insane.
And they're...
You just got to give Newcastle credit here, I reckon.
Almiron.
Almiron,
Boy.
Callum Wilson,
Finish.
Joelinton.
Yeah.
What a finish.
Almiron's finish, yeah, it was absolutely full trot.
Gorgeous.
He just doesn't. He only scores bangers.
Gorgeous.
Wilson was so close having the hat-trick too.
Yeah.
Offside for the second, but... Yeah.
I
Look at the
was
three.
super impressed with Bruno Guimaraes in this as well.
Whole team, mate.
He's just so effortless, Guimaraes. Like he's such a dog in there. Like he wins the ball back so easily.
He
Like,
loves Newcastle too. I've
Yeah.
seen he comes out in interviews. He's like, I'm a Geordie now. I'm one of the like. Fucking
I love watching what's happening to Newcastle. Even Almiron when he scored his goal, and the owners are there like pointing at him,
Yeah.
and, like he's pointing to them, and they're like, it's like the sort of relationship that they have with players is weird.
It's lovely to see.
Yeah, it's not seen much at all in the Premier League. So,
Doesn't feel as dirty this rise as
Yeah,
the
not
City
yet.
rise. Not yet.
it'll
but
get there, but
I'm sure it will.
When they're starting to spend, like, to be fair too, City have spent a lot of money, yes, but they've not chucked it around too. Like the Kyle Walker deal was the one where you were like, oi, they paid a lot for Kyle Walker, but even then, like he's been a massive servant to their club.
It's all wages though. That
It is,
the dodgy bit.
It's all back end and deals that go
Bonuses and-
through agents and whatnot.
Because clubs do the deal, whatever. But say the player has a choice of going to City or whoever else, they're going to choose City every time because they would just double the wage.
Yeah, I remember when
I know you guys already knew that. I don't know why I said it.
No, when United signed the deal with Chevrolet, all the senior players and staff got like free Chevrolet cars and that. Like
yeah.
Giggs and Rooney, there's a photo of them with their brand new Corvettes and they're both like blank face. Like, how are we supposed to drive this around Manchester anyway? Like, yeah, funny little anecdotes, I suppose, about being rich. Must be nice. This one, 4-0 win for Newcastle. Scass, you had it 2-0. Jackie, you had it 3-1. Benny, you had it 2-0. And I also had it 3-1. All in the favour of Newcastle.
Lucky Stevie's not in charge because of the back Villa.
Dinky Steve, you boys would have given up 3 points there.
Fulham Everton.
Away we go to a 0 draw at Craven Cottage.
Good game from Pickford, as we touched on earlier.
Yeah, he played very
Couple
well.
of very
Point
good
blank save
saves.
from Willian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was like-
unreal to
Reflex.
pour that over the bar too.
I think there was a Mitrovic header as well, which looked like it was dropping, and he got fingertips to it.
I mean,
He made 6 saves this game.
two teams that are now both pretty hard to, well, not hard to beat. Fulham aren't hard to beat if you catch them on the right day, I suppose. But
They're just both overachieving to what I think expectations were.
They're scrappy teams.
I think it's a good point for both sides.
Yeah, considering where they both are on the table.
Yeah.
But all they want to do is be comfortably safe this year and kick on to next year, I think.
Yeah.
Important point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Not much more to say.
This one, 3 of us got the result right. 1 of us didn't. So Jackie and I both had it as a 1-1 draw. Scarsy had it as a 2-2 draw. And Benny has it as a 1-0 win to Everton.
I've let you down this week, mate. I apologise.
Public apology.
Not only have you messed up the World Cup 11, we're going to end up
I've been carrying
Liverpool
you for weeks,
shirt.
mate.
You're going to end up wearing a
About
Liverpool
time.
shirt.
No,
You
there's
suck.
plenty of time left.
Speaking of Liverpool, they played Leeds United.
How good are we doing these tips, by the way?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm smashing it every
Smashing
week.
it, eh?
at the mighty,
Anyway.
untouchable
Good
fortress
episode this
that
week,
is
lads.
Yeah,
Anfield.
so we'll catch us next week. I guess the good thing about this game, we've already touched on all the in-depth stuff, but just talking about this game in specific, I just thought the subs were so fucking weird. I did not agree with any of them. Maybe the Hendo for Fabs is a good sub, but bringing on Jones for Elliott, it's like, why the fuck would you not bring on Fabio Carvalho instead of Jones? And then also bringing on Milner for Trent, like when we're looking for a goal and taking off Trent, who had a good game.
Yeah.
Like it just baffled me.
I think this game, Liverpool lacked creativity. It just seemed like...
And we take off our 2 most creative players.
Like to finish too.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't get to it because there's no
should've
fucking
scored
creativity. But the one... Well, there was... to be fair... I'll start again. To be fair, the times that we were doing that little flicks and things like that, we get in behind. But there just was not enough of it. I think I counted probably 2, maybe 3 times where I was like, wow, that was good footy. But just not enough. I think it just lacked imagination.
That's crazy you say it lacks that you... Well, obviously I didn't watch the game, so I'm just throwing me 3 cents in here. I'm looking at this lineup. You've got Trent and Robbo, who are notorious assist makers in that team. And you had Thiago, Firmino, and Harvey Elliott on the pitch.
I thought we did pretty well in terms of passing the ball around in moments. But I think it was the substitutions that killed us. Like, I think that just deaded the game. Like, Milner for Trent and Jones for Elliott. It's just, it didn't make sense. I was seeing that happening and I was like, we're not winning this game. I saw those subs.
Yeah, no, I agree. What I was saying about the lack of imagination, certainly in the later part of the game where we was desperate for a goal. And I think in the injury time there, we would like get it forward or whatever. The keeper for Leeds, I suck with pronunciations, but it would go to him. He'd kick it down to Allison. He'd roll it out to Gomez or something. He'd try and, because we're trying to be desperate for a goal, he would lump it in the box, through to the keeper again. Yeah. We did that about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
there was one where Allison booted it straight to him.
Yeah.
Like Allison made a big maze. The Leeds attackers were like, go on then, do something.
Yeah.
I
He
was
just charged out and booted it straight to
I was a bit surprised with that because generally when you have like such an experienced sort of team as Liverpool, like when you're playing that back and forth footy, as soon as you get in that final third, you control it. Like Liverpool had that chance to do that on multiple occasions, in my opinion, where they, like Melia would punt it, they would try and attack Liverpool. Liverpool would go back at them. But then when the sort of option broke down, Liverpool weren't recycling it very well, I thought. You know what I mean? They weren't controlling that sort of penalty area. There was a few times I thought, just could have been a bit smarter with what they did, but...
Well, we didn't even get there because we were just kicking it from halfway straight to the...
Well, there was a few times I seen where you just went... There was one that stands out in my mind particularly, one where Darwin Núñez runs forward on the right-hand side and shoots from the dumbest angle.
Oh, yeah.
And Salah's right there. It's like a 3v4, I think, at the time. Salah's there, and there's a player coming on the overlap on the other side, and he shoots from the dumbest angle in the world, and it's the stinkiest shot.
I think that was desperate, and I think it was also just trying to try something different because...
Try putting the ball in the back of that, mate, because he's fucking shit. He stinked this game. He really did.
Well,
his goal scoring record's good, so you can't really say that's his bad trait. But like, you can talk bad about Liverpool all we want, but you got to give props to Leeds for this game. Like, Coming to Anfield, Virgil's first ever defeat in the Liverpool shirt at Anfield in 5 years. Like, Leeds came to Anfield and fucking put up a game.
This was the game that Jesse Marshall was going to get sacked. They were going to get beat. He was going to get sacked. I think that played a large part in it. I think this team, particularly, obviously he's brought in his American flair, but there's a lot of love for Jesse Marsh. Again, I said it earlier. He's one of those. He's trying to play expansive football. It's just not quite coming off for him.
Well, even Bamford had an opportunity to get his number 100. Absolutely fucking stuffed it. Yeah,
Fucking hell.
That was terrible.
He looked just, I don't know, he looked so uninterested in, just the concentration levels weren't there for him.
He hasn't looked good since he come back from injury, it must be said, because there was chat that he was going to make the World Cup team.
On another note, though, that Cyprian Somerville.
Yeah, Somerville, yeah.
He looks very...
Somerville.
That's it, whatever his name is. He looks very good. Scored
2-2 now, isn't he?
Yeah, scored last week as well, but he just looked like a bit of a dog for Leeds.
For me, Aronson was the one for me.
Yeah, he's a weapon. I rate him so high.
He forced the error, really, that Gomez spooning his pass back. From Aronson's pressure, it's terrible pass back from Gomez.
On the ball, though, he was quality.
Yeah, he is.
He was very hard to tackle.
Yeah, I agree.
America are going to be dangerous in the World Cup. Their attacking options are very dangerous.
I know they put Tim Howard as my goalkeeper. Along with Tim Cahill.
Yeah.
Up the Timmies.
The Timmies. The Timmies either end of the pitch. Predictions for this one. Surprisingly, none of us had a Leeds 2-1.
Oh, I would have.
No, well, it was close. You did have it 3-0. So it was almost the result. Yeah.
I got the 3 goals,
yeah.
Just the wrong way. Jackie, you also had it 2-0. Benny had it 3-1. I had it 5-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So you're the biggest donkey out of all of us.
Biggest donkey there is, and that's my fault for backing you fucking clowns. So,
you'll back him again this week, will you?
What did I do?
Yeah, really.
No, I didn't. Because they're idiots and they suck. And they dropped twice to teams in the relegation zone.
Well, this will be the game that we...
Yeah, this will be the game you turn it up. But here we go. So we're a bit over 2 hours now. If you're still listening, thank you very much. Like, share, get us out there. Predictions for next week. Leeds host Bournemouth. Scash, you've got it. Oh, Scash, Ben and Jackie, you've all got it 1-1. I've got it 2-1 to Bournemouth.
You're not catching us, lads. Sorry.
Yeah, just holding steady.
I knew this was going to come.
Man City versus Fulham at the Etihad. Scash, you've got it 4-0. Jackie, you've got it 2-0. 5-0. Benny, you've got it 2-0. I've got it 3-1. Nottingham versus Brentford. Scash, you've got it 2-0 Brentford. Jackie, you've got it on the rest of us. All have it 2-1 to Brentford. We're all just going to copy each other's scores this week. Wolves versus Brighton at Molineux. Scash, you have it 2-0 to Brighton. Jackie, you've got it 2-1. Benny, you've got it 3-1. I've got it as a 1-1 draw. Everton versus Leicester. Scash, you've got it 2-1 Leicester. Jackie and Benny both have it as a 1-1 draw. I've got it as a 2-2 draw. Chelsea versus Arsenal, the Battle of London. Scash, you've got it 3-2 to Arsenal. Jackie, you've got it 2-1 Arsenal. Benny, you've got it 1-0 Arsenal. And I've got it 2-1 to Chelsea.
Could go anyway. Like
any which way. It could be a freaking 9-0 blowout.
Either team win, draw, blowout.
Unai Emery's first game in charge comes against the mighty Red Devils at Villa Park. Scash, you've got it 3-1 United. Jackie, you've got it 2-2. Benny, you've got it 3-0 United. And I've got it 3-1 to
good
Manchester
evening.
United.
I hope there's a result there so that he says good evening.
Yeah, the result will be them losing because they stink and United are brilliant.
Come on.
Southampton versus Newcastle at St Mary's. Scash, you've got it 2-0 Newcastle. Jackie, you've got it 3-0 Newcastle. Benny, you've got it 2-1 Newcastle. And I also have it 3-0 Newcastle. Everyone's starting to get on the Geordie hype train. Second last game of the week sees West Ham play Crystal Palace at the London Stadium. Scash, you've got it 2-1 to the home team. Jackie, you've got it as a 0-0 draw. Benny, you've got it as a 1-0 draw. And I also have it 2-1 in the favour of West Ham United. And last but not least, the big game of the week, I think, Tottenham versus Liverpool. It's up there with Chelsea Arsenal, but Tottenham versus Liverpool at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Scarsey's gone 3-1 Tottenham. Jackie 3-1 Liverpool. Jackie and Benny both have it 2-1 Liverpool, and I've got it as a 2-2 draw.
I think that game is the game of desperation. Probably the game of the week to watch would be Chelsea Arsenal.
I think so.
What do you mean by desperation? For like
Well, we're
Liverpool?
just fucking desperate for a win, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both teams need a big result there. I think Tottenham have struggled against all the big dogs. Liverpool, not been much better. The result against Man City is looking
A bit of anomaly.
every week like more and more of an anomaly. Like it was just right formation, right time. Obviously, the combination of one of the best goalkeepers in world football with one of the best forwards in world football. We'll see. We'll see against Tottenham if they can pull the result out.
Good weekend of football, though.
Great weekend of football. And every week we now move closer towards a World Cup. So it's going to be a bit more World Cup content, I think, coming to your ears. Obviously, all through the World Cup, we'll be doing the same thing with some predictions.
Bring back the quiz next
on
week
games.
as well.
Yes. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, push the notification bell. That'd be great. Gives us more outreach. Drop some comments.
Give us a rating.
Yeah. Spotify, music, drop 5s, whatever you got to do. Appreciate your ears, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, boys, for joining us.
And good evening.
See you next
I was
week.
thinking about it.